time for another weekend of the BSL. I am Nyokin, joined by Gypsy. This time around, we've got a lot of Protoss players and a lot of Zerg players. You can see our first matchup is going to be Hawk versus Bonyth, but then we've got a star-studded second matchup. It's going to be... What do you think about this group?
Damn, I thought we lost you, Nike, and you had a hiccup
Yeah,
there, and
I guess so.
we didn't even get we didn't even get the second part of that, dude. So we are gonna have Bonnet Hawk and then Cross Tech today, to basically start the round of 16 of the BSL, and you know the round of 16 is kind of insane this time around. So many just extremely high level groups, and even here Hawk, Bonnet, Cross Tech. I mean, you're asking me what do I think about these matchups, but really, I want to ask you, who do you think is going to get out? Because I feel like, I mean, I think Tech's a bit of an underdog in this group, but between Bonnet, Hawk, and Cross, I feel like it's a total toss-up.
Yeah, there's definitely favorites in the group. Of course, Bonyth, the clear favorite. However, Hawk just beat Bonyth a couple weeks ago in the NA Continental Battle. And we saw players like Dawid last season actually fall apart to highly aggressive play. Now, of course, Dawid and Bonyth are different players, but Crossy is a very sneaky, devilish Zerg. He could pull off a quick, sneaky victory versus Bonyth. And as you mentioned, I think Tech is, of course, the underdog because even though he's made it into the round of 16, when we saw him in the round of 24, he almost didn't make it out. Like, NBA was so close to making it out. So he's going to have his work cut out for him if he ends up facing Bonyth in a PvP.
No, you're totally right. So, I mean, we'll see if that does actually happen. Of course, the first game of the day is going to be Bonyth versus Hawk, which is a rematch of that famous continents battle that we had earlier, where you know, before the BSL, where Hawk actually won versus Bonyth, but it was on Aztec, an extremely kind of Zerg map, honestly, in this matchup.
Yeah, but Aztec's on the BSL map pool, man.
Yeah.
You think he's gonna pick it? If I was him, I might pick it.
Well, I mean, you're not him.
You're right. I'm not. I am not Hawk. How do you spell Hawk again? Is it H-O-K? H-A-W-K? What is it?
Hawk. Hawk.
Hawk. Okay, Hawk.
Hawk.
We'll see if Hulk's gonna Hulk in this group.
No.
Oh no. This is when we need the camera on Gypsy because he tilted his head, the Gypsy tilt.
Yeah.
And we're getting a look at the player statistics, of course. We can see that back in Season 8, Hawk did very well. Then unfortunately, not having the same success. Meanwhile, Bonyth, I like how we only see winner one time, but it's for 8, 9, 10, and 11. Like, he's a 4-time consecutive winner in the BSL. And last season, actually getting second. It's the first time in like a year and a half that he hasn't won the BSL.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's actually been a really long time if you really think about it. So Bonyth definitely is trying to basically reclaim his throne here. Still, I think he has a pretty good chance of getting out of this group, but historically he has, you know, if there's one race he struggled with in BSL, it has been Zerg, except for that one finals versus Terror where shockingly a Terran won versus him. But that being said, the game is ready. Ascension is going to be the first map between Hawk and Bonyth. Let's just get into it.
Alrighty, in the bottom left in the red, our Zerg player, it is Hawk.
Hawk. And then the bottom right. Did you say bottom right earlier now?
I
Can
said
you just say
bottom
bottom
left. Come on, you're not listening, I know.
It is Bonyth.
Man, I was looking at that map statistics. Protoss versus Terran, just a 38% win rate on Ascension. You know, I got that map vetoed. It might be getting unvetoed pretty soon after I see those stats, you know what I mean? You don't know what I mean.
Well,
You're probably
what
not
map are you
listening
talking
at all.
about?
Ascension, man. The map we're on right now. Come on.
What stats for Terran? It's a good Terran map. Not for Zerg though.
Yeah, it was 45% win rate for Terran versus Zerg.
Is it?
62% win. Yeah, 45, and then 62% win rate.
Like 45 for the Terran?
Yeah.
You know when this map, I know this has nothing to do with this match, but you know when Ascension came out, Terran was winning like close to 60% versus Zerg, right? On this map.
Okay.
And I feel like as people have played it, it's clearly like an insanely Zerg map versus Terran. So
Okay.
the fact that you say 45%, that's crazy. But this is a good Terran versus Pro. Anyway, there's no Terran in this game now, and I don't know why you're bringing this up.
You just went off on your gypsy rant. All I was saying was I'd unveto it.
Yeah, but then you were saying something about the stats because you unvetoed it.
Okay, well, the stats for this, Protoss versus Zerg, of course Zerg's favored here. We see that Bonyth is opening with his...
Is it though? This is actually a good Protoss map.
Is it? I actually can't remember now that I'm thinking about it. I think it is good for Protoss. Oh, we've got the patented Bonyth 1-gate opener.
Yeah, and I think this was this might have been an 11 hatch actually. Oh no.
I think it was a 12 hatch. Yeah. And then we had 11 pool, and we see that Mr. Hawk is just trying to deal as much damage as possible to the probe while he can. Oh, is that going to be a third hatch at that mineral only?
What? There's no mineral only on this map.
What? Whoops. My bad. You can see that I have vetoed this for a long time.
I can't believe you haven't played this game. Do you even play this game?
No, I don't even play this game.
I feel like American, you're turning into one of those guys in the chat. You know,
Am I?
Like, yeah, they're like keyboard warriors, but they don't actually play StarCraft. They think they know everything.
Oh.
Where's the Protoss caster? Where's the Zerg caster? Here comes the Zealot.
We had Kogez on the desk a couple weeks ago, right?
Kogez.
Yeah,
well,
Kogez, but
this one Zealot might actually do a lot of damage. The Lings aren't out quite yet. Does get a hit off onto that drone. Super low. Gets one drone actually, and there's still that one drone that's really low. If Hawk can stay stabilized here with just one drone loss, it wouldn't be the end of the world. He did morph 6 Lings. The Zealot though is coming around. Oh my god, he actually slapped the low one. So 2 drones down. There's another Zealot on the way. Hawk though, he is being very disciplined in a sense, or reckless. He's making drones this entire time, so he's confident that this is the right amount of Lings.
All right, let's see if he can snipe another drone. This might already be game-ending damage because he gets 2 drones. He, of course, has forced lost mining time from Hawk. His Nexus is done, and he has not snuck out a Zealot, so that's something to keep in mind. He's not going to have the ability to sneakily get into the main and deal some more damage. Now that's cybernetics. Holy moly, it's basically done, and Hawk hasn't even started mining gas yet.
Yeah, well, it doesn't necessarily have to be the end of the world here. Bonyth though has a fantastic build order with that really fast core. He is going to be able to get the Stargate up and just confirm what Zerg's doing, but also keep Zerg honest, because the pressure on the Overlords is going to be massive. Now Hawk, he has to make sure he doesn't go lair here. If Hawk goes lair here, the game's over.
It's already over? He's floating gas, man.
If he goes lair, the game's over. Oh no. This is
Or do we just go re?
Yeah, we just go next, man.
All right, well why is it game over now?
Good question, Nayokin. I feel like we're getting better at this. Well, you see, so Zerg has to defend Corsairs in this matchup, right? Like that, you have to think about the build order such that Zerg needs to have an answer to the early Corsair, because otherwise the Overlords are gonna die, right? And if the Overlords die, then your build is absolutely atrocious. Now, the classic way to deal with Corsairs, or like the classic build order, is going for this 3-hatch lair into Spire, and you have Scourge as a really good answer. But that's 100% dependent on your Spire timing. And actually, Hawk is going to get this Hydra Den, so he is going to go for this lair into 4-hatch into Hydra Den, and that, the Hydra is going to pop out in time for the Corsair. But if you're going to do this, Nayokin, I feel like you just go hatcheries before your lair. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
so Nemu S. I remember Nemu a couple seasons ago going like 6 hatch before gas.
Yeah.
Apparently that was effort style for a long time, is what I remember. Now we see Hawk has actually gone for 4 hatch with the lair. He's going for Hydra speed. You know, I thought maybe this was going to be lurkers since he went for the Hydras, but not going
Yeah.
to be the case. He is going to go for 5 hatch, but as everybody knows, this is super delayed. Not as many drones as Hawk wants either. And Bonyth, he's in control of the mid game. We saw he put down a pretty fast Citadel. Oh, is he already flooding gates? That's 3 gates, man.
Yeah, I mean, Bonyth has had a great early game, you know, from that opening with the gateway. You can see he's already at that 3840 probe count. So hopefully, you know, in the next, I think he's probably going to have another round of probes and then he'll stop. That one Zealot is role-playing as a probe.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh, he has a Templar Archives already, so this was a quick DT opening as well, actually. I think he is probably... Oh no, he's queuing Templars already. So super defensive here from Bonyth, I'm surprised. But he... Well, actually, this makes sense because the Corsair went in and saw kind of the early Hydralisk count. So Bonyth playing extra defensively here. He'll be fine against any kind of early bust.
Well, I think Hawk has done a pretty good job to recover. Sure, he doesn't have as many drones or as many Hydras as he wants at this point, but I think that this attack that Bonyth is going for is going to be denied. What is that? 5 Zealots? Doesn't have +1. Okay, +1's just about to complete. Meanwhile, Hawk's got a lot of Hydras, and the Corsairs are not going to be able to pick off any of the Overlords either. Now, is that a drone? No, that's a Ling moving to the right side. Oh, that is a drone. Is he really going to try and take a 4th base? That seems ambitious, to say the least.
Yeah, I feel like in this position, most Zergs don't opt for this 4th base. They opt for kind of the mid-left base. Not the center one, but the kind of the 4th base of the top spawn. So, yeah, that one. And we'll see, though, because, I mean, this space is going to be awfully close to the Protoss. But at the same time, if Zerg just controls their high ground there, they should have a pretty good defensive position. Meanwhile, Bonyth coming around with a couple of Robocops.
No. Oh, he just runs directly into the main, and behind this, he is going for like a 7-gate follow-up. You see he's plopped down 3 more gateways. He's going to lose some drones in his natural. Meanwhile, he loses drones at the main. Now he's not even mining in the main. And we know that Bonyth, he's great in the macro. Of course, he's got great probe saturation too. So he's just going to have an overwhelming attack, an overwhelming follow-up after this. But I did notice that Hawk was upgrading the lurker aspect.
Yeah. Well, Hawk's just struggling really with his economy, though. You can see 37 drones, not quite the count you want to be at, because he's not going to be able to afford that 6th hatchery. And, you know, Sari was talking about last week that Zerg really wants to get up to those 6 hatcheries to kind of contest the 8 gateway production. So this is really bad because there's an impending push coming here. Bonyth is just going to keep pressuring. He has 7 gates already. So the pressure is gonna force Hawk into unit production when really he still kind of needs to get a couple of drones here. He does have a 6th hatchery though at the 4th, but you see this is why this 4th is a liability.
Yeah, it's just too hard to defend all 4 locations, and now he's going to get punished for it. The Zealots are going to eat that hatchery. Meanwhile, Hydras are going to get stormed, and behind this, we saw that the robotics is already done. That means Observer is going to be coming out pretty soon. Oh, it's already out. 10-minute Observer? That's incredibly fast, and he's already just soul reading Hawk's follow-up.
Yeah, I mean, he's got range on the way, too. I mean, Bonyth is just playing really well. He's playing his build to perfection here. 10-minute Observer, super standard. You know, actually, that's when you know Zerg's struggling, that Zerg's just kind of behind on tempo. A couple of Corsairs coming in here. They are going to get shot down. Fortunately for Bonyth, I think Bonyth knows there's no Spire, so he doesn't really care too much about these Corsairs for now. The Zealot's still in the fray, slaying some of these Hydralisks.
Yeah, and Hawk, he does manage to hold, but that was just a small secondary attack. The 3rd attack is going to be coming pretty soon, and it's going to be more goon heavy this time. And Hawk, he lost his 4th base, he lost his 6th hatch. You can see he started +2 weapon, But look at +2 already almost halfway done for Bonyth.
Yeah, Bonyth, I mean, he's also got double forge, so he's just in an insane position here. Is taking his third as well. And yeah, I mean, Hawk's still in that disastrous situation that we've been talking about since the early game. I think people in the chat probably weren't believing Mr. Gypsy when he said that Hawk is in a pretty bad spot. But you can see, like, he hasn't had one moment of respite here. He's actually going for a drop. This is so high variance. I mean, you can respect it because he knows he's behind. He has to make something happen. But right as he loads up those Overlords, Bonyth comes in, kills a couple of Overlords, and the Corsairs as well. This is a huge disaster for Hawk.
Well, maybe it might get into a base trade scenario. One of the Overlords gets caught by that Ser, but he's going to unload Lurkers and Hydras. Remember, Bonyth has a ton of probes, so if he gets his mineral line blasted, it'll go from like 50 down to like 25. Meanwhile, Hawk is struggling to hold his third base. That's definitely going to fall. I think he needs to start sunkening up his natural.
I mean, he has
he just
to do
doesn't have
something.
anything.
Yeah, he's so low on supply. GG, that's it. There's so many Dragoons at the third base, and Bonyth made that look easy, man.
Yeah, super easy. Those Zealots in the early game, or not even Zealots, that one Zealot slapped two drones and forced a drone pull, and it crippled Hawk from the get-go. And as you stated, he needed to not go lair, because otherwise he's just never going to be able to recover. So unfortunately for Hawk there, Bonyth easily takes game one.
I mean, that lair is just, again, I think it's hard to state just how many minerals you kind of lose on getting an early gas and having drones mine it, and then the lair is just also expensive itself. It's like the most expensive thing you can make, because think about it, with the gas you could either get a Hydra Den or link speed, right? Or even an evolution chamber and +1. And lair is pretty much like, I guess the evolution chamber is as expensive in a sense, but not upfront anyway. Lair is pretty much the most expensive thing you can get. So if you tech fast to lair, but don't use that to make a spire, it's just kind of a big missed opportunity, I feel like. You know?
Well, yeah, but I mean, Hawk, he was just in a difficult position. I mean, when you lose two drones like that and you force a full drone pull versus players like Bonyth, it's almost unrecoverable, really. So you can't fault Hawk for trying to go for it. I think the fourth base was the biggest mistake. It felt like there was no way that could ever get up and running. But but sometimes when you're so far behind, you just have to take a gamble, right? Because you know you're behind. Maybe Bonyth doesn't find it, or maybe he missteps and like loses both of his Templars, and then it's just pure Hydra versus Zealot. So Hawk, he's going to start off 0-1 already. Bonyth looking in really top shape right now. Now, we talked about potentially, or I talked about Aztec. Okay, there's the answer. Good Night is going to be our second map. So let's get into game two, everybody. See if Bonyth can close out the series. Okay, in the top left, already up 1-0. It is Bonyth.
And in the top right, in that red Zerg, it is Hawk SC, aka Hawk.
All right, well, Good Night. Clearly, I don't know the maps because I thought we were on.
Have you played this season at all? Like, I just
played like 20 hours in the past 2 days. Don't even act like you weren't in my stream. I saw you in there. You know.
I feel like you haven't been playing at all, man.
I was playing D2. I saw Oya.
Oh no.
And I know
you've been raiding Sanctuary with Oya, bro.
Yeah, I saw how easy he got through his group, and I was like, you know what? I want to make it deep in BSL2. Is the secret to just kill mobs in Sanctuary?
Yeah, I mean, I know Jay Yoon's also on that Diablo train, but I think only Oya can pull it off, man. Honestly.
It might be true because I don't think.
I mean, I tuned into your gameplay, and it was.
What are you saying right now?
The gateway is in the main. You don't see that every day.
Let's just leave it out that. We've got a single gate in the main so far. Remember, we saw many in ASL, actually 2 gates. So we'll see if Bonyth is a 2-gate follow-up. But we know that Bonyth loves to play one base, not necessarily 2-gate. Could be even gas. But we'll have to keep an eye on it because 12 gas is coming. If he's going to go for that gas, I think he would be putting it down around this time.
Yeah, so far, Bonyth not really showing us his build order. He does get inside, does see the 12 hatch, so now he can make a decision between, you know, what he wants to do. Ooh, second pylon very early here, actually before his gas, so indicative that he definitely wants to make a bunch of zealots early on, and it makes sense. I mean, you know, in PvZ, you would think, well, here's the thing. If you get the 12 gas, right, you kind of hamper your zealot production. But like this, in the way that Bonyth ordered this build, he can kind of make it look like it's a 1-gate opening because he's just gonna have constant zealot production. He's gonna put on the same amount of pressure here, minus the fact that the gateway isn't a bit more forward. So without Hawk actually confirming at the nat, he has no way of knowing that this is actually one base.
Yeah, that's what I like about this, is he sends the zealot. It looks like the normal gateway timing like you're talking about, and behind this, actually the cybernetics is like halfway done.
Yeah.
And Hawk, he doesn't even have an extractor built, so when this Ser shows up or Reaver shows up, he's gonna be like, where the hell did this come from? So we do have the probe zealot combo into the main again. Let's see if he can snipe a couple of drones. That one is super low. Can he pick him out?
Nice micro from Hawk for now. Doesn't quite lose a drone just yet, and he needs to keep that going. Last game, of course, we saw he lost 2 drones early on and really hampered his build, but so far he's dealing with this really well. And oh, the surround was good for a second, but then the Zerglings kind of stopped cooperating, so the Zealot does get out. The probe is dead, though, so, you know, that's a huge win for Zerg. There's a second Zealot at the natural, maybe? No, I think they're all at the main.
Is that Robo? He just spent a lot of gas, and that was a tiny building. There it is. So 1 base Robo. I remember seeing this in the first Continental battle. Was it Beast that pulled this out? I can't remember exactly. Ooh, drone! It gets smacked!
Yeah, that's just 1 drone, though. It could be worse.
It could be worse. But, I mean, the Reaver is going to be out. Like, look, Hawk still has no idea where Bonyth is. He doesn't see anything. Yeah.
And he's looking just for the naturals. You can see the bottom right Overlord, top left Overlord, both just at the naturals. Now,
Holy moly.
Okay, Quark, thanks so much, dude, for that fat donation, $115 from the UK man himself. Of course, Quark, regular in BSL these days, BSL Pro League player, also contributing to the tournament. So awesome to see that.
Look at that Overlord. I think a lot of players would have sent the Overlord back, but he poked in and confirmed that there were zealots on the ramp.
Oh, look, he actually sent Zerglings, sorry, no, into bottom left. So he had no idea. Now he knows that it's 1 base, but he has his lair on the way. And let me tell you something, Nayak, you don't want to have a lair on the way. You want to have Hydralisk upgrades coming here, because Spire is not going to be done any time close to when the Reaver comes. You actually need 3 hatch like Hydras with upgrades to deal with this.
Oh, we canceled the Hydra Den.
Yeah, this game's over.
He doesn't know what the follow-up is. He might think this is like 2-gate or something, but we know that this is obviously not 2-gate. He might just die here because this is 4 zealots. Okay, the Lings are going to pop out and the Sunken's going to pop up in time. Oh, is he still going to go for it? I think this might be a... Yeah, he needs to back up. But yeah, Hawk, unless that Spire finishes, he's going to have no counter to the Reaver.
Yeah, the Spire just started, but this Reaver's going to have free reign. Now, there's one mistake here. There's one weakness for Bonyth is if Hawk just goes straight to the main, there's nothing really defending, and that's just 1 gate. It's 1 Zealot. The Reaver is done, though, so that could defend. And it looks like Hawk is just trying to play reactively here, trying to defend his mid-right base. A lot of Lings are going to make short work of this army eventually. But, yeah, it's a really good trade. But, I mean, the Reaver's going to do so much damage. It's going to create so much space, I feel like.
Oh, unfortunately, he built the Spire there. You know, I was thinking, like, should he have built it in the 3rd base? And this means, well, there's nothing to support the Reaver. It's just a Reaver. There's no Zealots in here. So this is actually, okay, well, it needs to attack.
Yeah, but... From downtown.
Downtown.
Just absolutely blasting this mineral line. The sunken does finish though, but there might be an angle towards this side of the hatchery. Another scarab. So many drones. 10 drones. Hawk's down to 10 drones now.
He might be down to fewer than that. Look at that scarab. He just doesn't even care about the lings. He's only caring about those drones.
Yeah.
Oh no, there's no way. Does it go through the mineral and connect? Are you serious? How? How does it go through the... Literally every single scarab has connected. Protoss players here are in awe of how much damage this single Reaver is doing.
Yeah.
Wondering, why can't my Reaver do that?
Bonyth just... let's just say Bonyth has the biggest Reaver in the business.
Oh!
Absolutely massive damage. 3 drones? Well, that's it. I mean, this game's done.
He's got 3 drones. 3 drones in a dream?
Yeah. I mean, even if he kills this shuttle, like 3 drones, it's just impossible to come back from here. 2 drones now, 4 drones.
I don't know. I've played people on ladder that think they can win from here.
Yeah, I saw.
Oh, he took out another drone.
GG.
There it is, GG. Well,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, Bonyth made that look easy, man. So Bonyth, dude, he wanted that revenge from the Continents battle. He was mad. You know, I feel like Bonyth, you can tell, man. He's obviously, when you're a champ like him, he's an ultra competitive dude. You don't want to just let someone win against you like that. So he came back and absolutely murdered Hawk this time around.
Yeah, that was what do you like to call it? Like, he got blasted. He definitely got blasted.
I never say that.
Oh, you don't say that? Okay, I'm pretty sure that's on the bingo card. We'll have to check afterwards though.
It's definitely not.
Bonyth. I know it's not. Bonyth.
It should be though.
It should be. Bonyth definitely turned it up a notch in this series, and he easily makes it in to the winners match. So that's going to conclude our first series of the day. I think we're going to take a break, and then we'll be back with CroSs versus Tech. So don't go anywhere.
Zero's scrambling. Oh, there you go.
We're back for some more Protoss versus Zerg action. This time around, it's going to be CroSs versus Tech. We saw Bonyth come up with some crazy aggressive play in our last game, but CroSs, he's known to be quite aggressive these days. In the past, I don't remember him being that aggressive, but you mentioned it to me. He seems to have become Zealot-esque. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, Cross, he's, he prides himself on the fact that he got that. Oh, someone joined my Discord, guys. That was.
Nope, we gotta ban him. You don't do that.
I forgot I was on Discord, man. That distracted me, dude. Yeah, Cross, he like got to 2700 or something, and he, because he always says that, I'm 2700. But you know how he's just absolutely murdering people on the ladder with his all-ins.
All right. Well, I haven't seen him play on stream in a while, actually.
Yeah.
So I'm not too sure. I mean, I've noticed over time that he's gotten more aggressive, but I didn't realize that he's reached Zealot levels of aggro.
Yeah,
Shine levels of aggro. So this will be interesting because
Shine's definitely more of a macro player.
Yeah, I know he loves to 4-pull me and then macro out of it, if that's what you mean.
Okay. Well, Tech is gonna have his work cut out for him because Cross is an absolute killer in this matchup. I think some of the viewers in the chat will have seen Cross practicing with Bonyth, for example. And in general, I think this is by far his best matchup. And he's just so clean, like so surgical at just dismantling like a Protoss builder, right? Like if he sees just a small weakness, he'll go for it. And actually I'll keep this for the beginning of the match.
Okay, well, we'll all be waiting in anticipation to hear what.
Oh, it has nothing to do with you.
Gypsies. I didn't say it did. I said we're just waiting in anticipation for what Gypsy's gonna drop on us in the match. We get to see the statistics for CroSs. You can see in season 7 through 9 actually did quite well, making it into the top 12. But then in the next couple seasons, not having the success that he wanted. Meanwhile, Tech seems to be about a round of 24 player, but he's now made it into the round of 16, so he's looking to go above and beyond to round of 8. But as you mentioned, this is going to be such a hard matchup because every Protoss player, what they hate about Zerg is that you can't scout him, and if CroSs kills that probe, he's got all types of moves he can put on you.
No, totally. That's totally right, Nyokin, and he will.
And he will, that's the thing. It's different if you're playing me and I kill your probe. I'm still gonna, still go +2 timing on you. But versus CroSs, you've got a hole in your wall. How many gaps is that? How many gaps does the wall have? Oh, 3. I'm just gonna Ling flood you. Or now, I'm just gonna go mass Hydras.
Yeah, Tech's no pushover though. I mean, I feel like the best we've seen from him in the BSL has been PvPs, but he has put people on the spot, like the Walt and stuff. So, and honestly, overall, he's a solid player. So I don't think Cross is necessarily a shoe-in here. Ascension is going to be the map. It is a good Protoss map overall. So we'll have to see if Tech can survive the early game here and get a win or whatever. I don't know. The game's ready. Let's get into it.
All right, in the bottom left, trying to get a win here or whatever. It is Tech.
Yeah. Very much so, dude. And in the bottom right, it is Soul Z Super Guri, aka Cross.
Well, I'm on the edge of my seat.
Well, yeah, let me tell you this story here.
Tell me.
There's definitely a bit of, I'll spice it up a bit. There's definitely a bit of bad blood here between these two players. And I don't know what the story is, but I have seen Cross. This was a while ago, though, so, guys, stop trying to be such gossip queens in the chat. Gossip girls. But I'll feed you this one. a couple of months ago, I was watching Cross stream. He played Tech on ladder, and Cross killed 2 of his first drones and won the game.
2?
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty disrespectful. So I guess CroSs doesn't have much to think about Tech. We see that this is an overpool opener, and we see that Tech is actually going for, I think that's a Forge.
Yeah.
So this is going to be completely different from what we just saw in the first series.
Yeah, and Cross, however, opened with an overpool here, so he is going to be safe against cannon rushes. But Tech will be able to basically get away with the Nexus first here. They're on 13.
Yep, there it is. And so he is going to plop that cannon afterward.
Yeah, afterwards, Nyokin's just...
Oh, my internet's acting up. It's not BSL unless my internet acts up at some point. I thought after I got to Korea, those days were over, but apparently not.
I thought... Do you have a... You must have KT internet.
I don't even have KT.
You have SKT?
What do I have? I don't have SKT. I have something else.
The tier 3 providers?
It's not KT and it's not SKT. It's
well,
the
then
third
what
one.
else is there?
I don't know. I didn't sign up for it. It just came.
NT? Nyokin Telecom?
You could be Nyokin Telecom. Might be.
I don't know. That wasn't funny.
Well, we've got, I think this was a 235 gas from CroSs. Meanwhile, third hatch on location at the third base. And this looks like it could be Lair. Now, what happened to that probe? Did it die already?
I think so, yeah. And you can see there's Cross has a significant spread of lings. There's 1 kill on that Zergling, so yes, the probe is dead. Now, we were talking about this earlier. Sari was mentioning how that cannon has to be spaced out correctly so that the Hydralisks don't dive in. I think that could be fine there, but we'll have to see. That is a Lair coming from Cross, so not playing his usual 9-7-3 style, but Nyokin, this core is really late.
Yeah, it is pretty late, so we'll see what Tech wants to do with this. Could this be something like a fast second gate follow-up, maybe?
I doubt it. I think Tech just kind of made a small mistake here, and he queued that Zealot up first, and I think when you go Forge expand like this, well, we'll see. I mean, this Zealot is going to force a couple of lings, but I don't think it's going to be worth justifying delaying that core. I feel like when you're going this Forge expand and you get 1 cannon gate, I think you have to prioritize your core before you make any Zealots because, well, you know, that Zealot could be good against something like a 9-7-3 opener. But when you make just 1 Zealot like this and then not any follow-up Zealots, it is a bit suspect here. We'll see, though. It might get some damage. There's no drones at the third base just yet.
Yeah, no drones there. Zealot does manage to sneak by and see that there are no drones. So I wonder what Tech is thinking. Is he thinking that maybe this is some type of all-in move? We'll see how he reacts. Now, we did see that the Stargate went down at around 4:30. It's matching the Spire timing. So that means Scourge will be obviously waiting and ready once that Sare pops out.
Yeah, I mean, the Corsair still has to make, and then it still has to fly all the way over. Scourge do make faster than the Corsair. But Cross, that Scouting Overlord did commit inside of the main of Protoss. I think Tech, though, won't take the risk to kill that Overlord because we saw that with the Zealot, he spotted there was no drones at the third, so he must be a bit scared here. And you know these players have played before. Cross is just generally ultra aggressive in this matchup. But he will be ready for that Corsair. I don't think any Overlords will go down. It is really important, guys, in the early game, just how many Overlords this Corsair can kill. Generally, if they kill 1, it's good. You know, and if they kill 2, it's really good. Ooh. But when they kill none, it's pretty bad.
Ooh. Is this normal to put down 3 hatches like this? This seems very, very quick. That is obviously going to give him an explosion of larva. We see that the first Sare is into the main. He's got to be careful.
I think Cross kind of suspects here that he has a good timing, and killing that Corsair, I think now he might even make a couple of Mutalisks to defend. But this is, my god, he's getting away with murder here.
Yeah, we've got 2 gateways already done. Citadel only, so this is going to be a pretty fast timing. Ooh, the Scourge! Connect onto that Sair. And goodbye, Sair. Now, because of how fast this Citadel is hitting, CroSs may have overstepped his bounds, putting down those triple hatches that fast. Here comes the move out. Lings are going to catch one of the Zealots. That's great. Now we are seeing the move out. Speed is not kicked in just yet. +1 is... Oh, it already completed, so he is going to have a nice power spike. And we are moving into the into the third base. I mean, meanwhile, there's no sunken set up there. Hydras are scrambling to get morphed. And those Lings have done a good job keeping 3 of the Zealots back.
Yeah, I had to deal with that phone real quick, Nyokin, because apparently I'm a popular guy, but only 6 Zealots here. It's not going to do any damage, and with the 6 hatch before Hydra Den, just extremely strong economic opening. CroSs is going to have enough, you know, the thing is he has enough Hydras here to defend. I don't think those Zealots, oh, they do have +1, so, and +1 armor is on the way, but just too many Hydras here. And honestly, when you get away with this 6 hatch configuration before your Hydra Den and stuff, you're just in such a good position. And I think CroSs, I mean, this is why he's a killer, man. You kind of expect him to play super aggro, but he actually just played extremely economically here.
Well, I don't know if you saw that or not, but it said 12 drones were morphing all at once.
Yeah.
So he went from 33 to 45 now. And to
Must
say
be nice.
he's, yeah, it must be nice. To say that he's going to be perfectly saturated is quite an accurate statement. And as long as he doesn't die here, he's going to be going into the mid game in a fantastic position. We can see that he's supply blocked, so this is the window of opportunity that Tech was looking for.
Yeah, these Zealots, you have to give credit where credit's due. Tech is playing superbly with these Zealots. He's kind of just sharking around, just keeping them mobile. And that's what you really need to do with early game Zealots, because there's no threat to losing them. You can just kind of weave in and out, find a weak spot, and if it's not there, you just kind of run away. Keeping the Hydras occupied as well. Unfortunately, he did have to make a decent amount of cannons at his front, but I think that was after he started warping in gateways. He even canceled that last one, so not the worst for Tech, but he definitely is delayed on his build, to say the least, because again, we've been talking about the 6 hatch versus 8 gate production, and 6 hatch has been operational for a while now, Nyokin, and Tech's not even on 6 gate.
Yeah, I was going to say, look at the probe count. He's got 55, which is good, but building those extra probes is delaying his gateway flood considerably. And we know...
Well, we know
CroSs already has his saturation perfect. So this is going to... I mean, so Tech needs to scramble and get those goons out. We also see that Lurker aspect is about to finish. So this could be a massive contain being set up.
Yeah, and it finishes at 10 minutes here. Remember, Bonyth already had an observer at this point in the game, last game, so you can tell that here Tech's build isn't quite as clean, as fast, and he is going to struggle because now Lurker is being morphed and probably more behind it, and Tech really does not want to get contained here. He's already behind. He needs to put on some pressure. If he gets contained, that buys Zerg even more time to just produce units off these 6 hatches. You can see CroSs is actually taking a 7th hatchery at his 4th base to the top right, so that's going to be an extra base for him. And just making a bunch of Hydras, man. The supplies are really close, and looking at Protoss's composition, I mean, it's not just goons. It's, you know, it's a lot of Zealots. They're not very good at breaking out of these contains.
This one lurker just being annoying is quite hilarious. It might even kill that forge, which is annoying. Sarah's going to come in and try and pop an overlord, but look at the supply. It's 135 to 125.
Yeah.
This is absurd macro from CroSs.
Yeah, I mean, again, when you get away with that early 6 hatch, it's just insane. And like we mentioned, these Corsairs are going to skirt on by. Like we mentioned, Tech definitely over-made probes. You know, around like 6:30, 7 minutes is where you want to stop making probes. This is a tip I learned from the big Oaken. And that generally puts you at around like 42 probes, 40, 42 probes. And then you can actually start making your gateways on time. But 56 probes, that's like way too many. And he got them really early, so you can see that his production is just kind of delayed. Finally, he's pushing out though, and the reality is though that he does have decent upgrades, and he has 160 supply with a bunch of storm. Doesn't look like CroSs is interested in making Mutalisks. So these storms, if they land right with this kind of supply, even though Zerg has a pretty impressive unit count himself, just Storm can be so efficient, and the Protoss army can be so efficient at the supply.
We see Tech is feeling confident in his army comp. He's going to put down his 3rd base, and he's onto the platform on Ascension, so he's going to have great... is he double expanding? So he's going to go up to 4 bases and try and match the eco of CroSs. You can see that a Templar got sniped on the left side, CroSs sniping a couple goons on the right side.
Yeah. Well, units are bleeding a bit, and Tech, again, what's worrying me is he doesn't really have that many Dragoons, and he's still mixing in a lot of Zealots into his production cycles. He's actually just going to take a 4th base. Cross now building a Queen's Nest and getting +1 melee. So Cross is thinking about transitioning here into the late game. 1 storm goes off, 2 storms, but the Templar does get traded off, so I think Cross will take that trade actually. And it's going to be hard for Protoss to attack, man. I mean, I feel like Cross has had a lot of time to just set up lurkers, and, you know, Ascension is a super turtley map. So we might be in for a long one, actually, because although Tech can't really push, I don't think Cross can push either. I mean, this is so many Protoss units.
Yeah, this is a ton of Protoss units, and we can see that the Sairs
are kind of around. They're sharking around. Internet is hating them so much.
Yeah.
Well, here comes the Zerg, but Tech has really good position on his high ground. Just not a lot of storms though, and not a lot of boons. I don't think the upgrades are fantastic either. Here come more Templar, but they're on the side. They're all just gonna die to these lurkers and the Hydras before this storm. Oh my god, that's 6 Templar damage rate. 1 storm, 2 storms go off though, so that was a lot of Hydras to pick off. I think Tech is gonna survive for now, but his 4th base is in shambles.
Yeah, but you can see that Tech still has... Okay, he is going to lose that 4th base, as I'm seeing that right now on the mini-map. He does have 3 bases, but we can see CroSs is shooting up in supply. Meanwhile, Tech is struggling to stay even. In fact, he's down 15. And CroSs is starting to take a 5th base. He's taking top middle, and that's Adrenaline being upgraded. So a big power spike coming for the Zerg player.
Yeah, Crackling's just super, super impressive in the late game, especially with an economic advantage. And an upgrade advantage, because I haven't seen Tech's upgrades. Well, GG. Never mind. Tech taps out. He kind of recognized the bad spot that he was in. And Cross takes an early lead here.
Yeah, and I thought that 2-gate was going to be more successful than it was. When I saw the 3 hatches go down, I thought, okay, this seems a bit ambitious versus what I'm watching Protoss do, which is the pretty quick 2-gate. But it still had enough Hydras. So I don't know what Protoss is exactly supposed to do to punish that, because it looked like there was a little bit of vulnerability from Zerg's side, but maybe not.
I think it was just a huge mistake for Tech to make that first Zealot in the first place, and his core was just mistimed. I think with Forge opening like that, it's really interesting, because when you go Forge as Protoss, Zerg also has the option to get a really fast gas and get a really fast lair. And if they recognize that you're playing kind of that more passive style, they're definitely going to go for it. So as Protoss, you actually have to prioritize your own core as well, and Tech right away off the gate finishing basically. So And he didn't do that, and build order wise, I think Cross had a significant advantage. And that's also what allowed him to just get 6 hatch before Den. Now, I don't know what tell Cross had in the game. That's what's interesting to me. Like, how did he know that he could get away with 6 hatch like that? Was he banking on making Mutalisks if it was kind of like a fast Zealot flood? Because he didn't know. I mean, that could have been like something like skip Stargate Citadel. Suddenly you have a bunch of Zealots running at you. Sure, you can make a couple Mutalisks, but when you make that 6th hatch so early and you don't have the second gas, you can only make so many mutas. So it was interesting for me to see that Cross actually went for that, but it was the right call, and that put him super far ahead.
Well, you mentioned that apparently they have history, so they may have played a few games or so, and Cross, you may just know, like, okay, Tech loves the 2-gate, for example. Maybe. I don't know, because I haven't seen Tech play. And I played in PvT, and he definitely is aggressive. So it might just be a read that Crossy had on this particular player. Now, we got game 2 coming up. This is going to be Tech's pick. Revolver. That's a clear Protoss favored map, right? You think we're going to see that?
I mean, that's a possibility. I think a lot of this map pool is pretty decent for Zerg, though, to be fair. So, thinking about what Zerg would have to veto in this matchup, I think Revolver is kind of the only map. What else? Like it's hard to say. I don't think a lot of people have experience with Vertebrae, so I think most players will kind of tend to stay away from that one. Heartbreak Ridge is really unpleasant to play as Protoss. Aztec's unpleasant to play as Protoss. Ascension, we just saw it. Then Goodnight is not as unpleasant to play as Protoss versus Zerg. And there's Wavelet, but I don't think many people have a lot of experience on Wavelet. I think Wavelet might actually be a decent Protoss map.
Yeah, so I'm just waiting to see what the pick is going to be. You've played in BSL, I've played in BSL. Some players will practice on the new maps because they know the other players haven't been practicing on the new maps, and they might be able to sneak a win like that. I know Dragon is someone that practices all the maps, so we'll see if Tech wants to get sneaky here.
Yeah, I mean, it is hard, though. It is definitely hard. I think Cross will most likely veto something like Revolver. And if he doesn't, I would be shocked if Tech doesn't pick it, because that's probably the best map in the pool. But at the same time, it is a difficult map. Like, you have to know how to play late game on there. I think most players tend to not want to play too defensively. It is going to be Good Night. This is kind of a shock pick for me because this map is really good for Zerg versus Protoss. But it is going to be the map for game number 2 here between Cross and Tech. So let's just get into the game, guys.
Okay, in the top left, up 1-0, it is Crossy.
And in the bottom right, in the pink, it is Tech.
Yeah, so you were saying this is not the greatest Protoss versus Zerg map. I mean, even if the map is not in your favor, if this is a map you practice all the time, sometimes you just gotta go with it, because if you're unfamiliar with the other maps, I mean, there's no purpose in playing them because you're just going to be uncomfortable on it. Okay, I was thinking that we
might have some kind of dirty opener, but we didn't.
Yeah. Man, my internet, man. I'm going to have to figure out what this is, because I streamed all day long. I had no issues, and they're like, he's casting, let's get him.
I think it's your neighbors, man. They know what you're up to, and they're taking up your bandwidth, man.
They might be.
I think you have to go around your apartment and just knock on doors and be like, can you stop using your internet? I'm streaming here. Casting BSL.
Yeah, I mean, it's 3:25 a.m. in Korea. I'm sure they're, like, streaming.
What do you mean? That's prime time, dude. Everyone's on Netflix.
Yeah, they're watching Squid Game.
Yeah, Squid Game trying to fall asleep.
Yeah.
Well, that is going to be a 9 pool here from Cross. And luckily for Tech, it is cross spawns. So he will have more time to react to this. I think I mean, he will definitely have to make a cannon here before his Nexus, but I think he can maybe get away with, especially given the spawn, he can probably get away with just one cannon. We'll see. Well.
It's tilting, man, because I start talking and then I see that I have dropped, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to be a 2 cannon follow-up. Tech really does not want to die to these Lings.
Yeah, I mean, this is the safe way to play for sure, because, you know, you're in the BSL, you don't want to take risks, especially down 0-1 here. And double cannon makes sense, but I think I would have respected also just, you know, going that Nexus gate. But, you know, that this double cannon does allow Tech to make more probes. Generally, with Nexus gate, you would be cutting probes, and then maybe the Lings would come in and snipe a probe or two. It's definitely, execution-wise, much harder to pull off. And I think maybe, you know, Tech not feeling that comfortable maybe on this position. But importantly, he keeps this probe alive against Cross, man. Every, you know, information counts here up against his opponent.
Yeah, it's alive for now, but I noticed that the probe was already taking hit points. Okay, it gets killed right when the...
Right when the gas finishes, it does go down. And actually,
Are you serious?
he dropped in like the most insane position. He had like his arms flailing around. He looked like an alien for a second. Oh, wow. Actually, yeah, Narkin, I think you should. I think Narkin has to actually start resetting his router or something. So it's probably gonna be me for a bit here, because the dropping is kind of getting excessive. But oh, are you back?
Well, I don't know. I just replugged my Ethernet cable in. We'll hope that it was just slightly disconnected or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But for now, it's working for the next 30 seconds or so, I'm sure. We see that this is a lair follow-up. I was going to say, the drone died, or the probe died at the worst time because Zerg just started mining gas, and then it's like you're in a panic mode. Okay, is it Hydra Den? Is it lair? We see that it's actually lair. You know, we were talking about how crazy aggressive CroSs is. To see that he's just still playing standard is a little bit surprising, but you can see Tech is respecting it because he's got 2 probes pulled off.
Well, I do like that Tech is doing this. He made this adjustment from game 1 to game 2. He didn't make a zealot; it went straight core. I think that's gonna help him out. Although I think he might have started the +1 weapons first. So Stargate again, kind of matching the Spire, really is going to be unfortunate for him. No, last game on Ascension, we did see that he lost the first 2 Corsairs. Luckily for him, Cross didn't actually make a bunch of Mutalisks at any point in that game, but he's going to have to keep these Corsairs alive, and I don't think they're going to have much space to maneuver around because the Scourge are going to be so fast.
Yeah, on Ascension, his Corsair got there like right after, or right before the Scourge popped. I actually thought that the Scourge were going to pop out and instantly kill the Corsair, and we're going to have a similar timing here. So Tech is going to need to be careful to not lose his Sairs. We see that CroSs not doing anything weird yet. We haven't seen the 4th, 5th, 6th hatch get flooded. We don't see a second gas anywhere. So everything looks pretty normal. And again, Tech is just going for that fast speed again.
Yeah, but
He's
this
got 2
time
gates.
around, Cross, I feel like is, well, we'll see. He is playing much more conservatively. I'd be shocked if he went for 6th hatch again. The Corsair is done. No +1 on air just yet, so...
And he doesn't have his nat gas.
Yeah, he doesn't have his nat gas.
So this is highly committed. This needs to deal a lot of damage. If it doesn't, he's going to be in a bit of trouble because all that gas that's not being mined, I mean, that means he's not going to have as many Templars. He's not going to have as many goons. You can... Oh my gosh, it's going to be Mutas.
Yeah. Well, this Corsair will spot something. Hopefully he can see a bunch of eggs being morphed at once. So that's one tell. See what else he sees even more. Yeah, this is starting to get suspicious. I mean, there's no second gas. Oh, he flies away before the Mutalisk actually morphs. So I don't think Tech knows. Tech doesn't know this is Mutalisks. He already has Zealots on the way in the middle of the map. +1 is going to finish on them, but it's only 4 Zealots legs. Not quite done. You can see he's starting to retreat because they don't have the speed upgrade just yet. But Corsairs are getting queued up to... Oh, this is nice splitting from Tech, actually. His multitask is going to be tested here.
I thought he was going to get some drone kills at the natural with those 2 Zealots, but he splits off 1 into the main, 1 into the natural. But the Mutas are going to be forced back, and that is going to buy Tech time to build up that Corsair count. I was a little surprised to see that Tech didn't instantly get +1 weapon on his air, but he did get +1 armor instantly on his forge, so that's going to be great for him. He's still going to hit his 1-1 or potential 2-1 power spike going into the mid game. But is this 4 hatch?
No, this is 5 hatch.
5 hatch,
the 6th
okay.
hatch coming now. I think again, Cross is actually getting the 6th hatch before his Hydra Den here, so feeling really comfortable. And really, I mean, he has no reason not to, because these Mutalisks are actually buying him so much space. The Zealot attack, and this was a super committed Zealot attack, because Tech, he didn't get his 2nd gas, and you really need that 2nd gas early as Protoss to transition into your mid game. He's getting a 2nd Stargate.
Yeah, double Stargate. So he, I guess, is going to continue to commit to this high, super high Zealot count and try to overwhelm on the air. If he can supply block Crossy, maybe he can overrun the Hydras. We see that the 6th hatch is coming up for Crossy, though. He's already got a Sunken set up at his natural. He's got good SimCity at his 3rd base. So this is still going to be a rough situation for Tech to overcome. I like Crossy's drone count. It's at 44, so his econ is great.
Yeah, I mean, Cross is in a really good position here. I think this 2nd Stargate is not really going to work out for Tech, because Cross is really, he only made 5 Mutalisks here. He's not committed, and they're going to get some damage. But behind this, I mean, Cross is going to have 6 hatch Hydralisk. And the 2nd Stargate is a huge, huge sink. I mean, you can see, like a resource sink. You can see the Templar Archives isn't even done. It's still on the way. Then we still have to start Psionic Storm, which we don't have gas for because our 2nd gas was so late. And we're going to have to make Templar. So, honestly, I think Tech is dead. I think Cross is just going to make Hydras and kill his natural. Oh, he's making DTs.
He's making DTs, so... This is a lot of interesting moves from Tech. The DTs, I thought, okay, well, maybe this is going to be for Maelstrom, but Maelstrom upgrade hasn't started yet. You can see that, I mean, look at the gas for Tech. I mean, he's so gas starved. He can't build a single Templar right now. He's got, how many is that? 8 Corsairs. But these Mutas that are only like 5 are just killing everything in the natural, and only 1 is on gas.
Yeah, and this Stargate Corsair, you really cannot afford to give these Mutalisks value. Zealots coming in, though, right before there's a lot of Hydralisks. The Sunken does get surrounded. +1's going to make short work of that defense, but the drone's drilling really efficiently here, and Hydra's still outputting a lot of DPS. Slowly but surely, the Zealot count does dwindle, and now 3 hatches there. Production coming online. More Hydras rallying into the mid-left. Even though a couple of drones do go down to these last few Zealots, I think Cross, you know, already on 7 hatch, he's going to have so much larva to work with, and you can look at the worker count here. It's not really budging.
Oh, the DTs are now going into the 3rd base, and there's no Overlord in sight. I'm trying to see, are there even Overlords in production? Yes, there are. But these DTs are going to rack up kills. They've got the +1 armor or +1 weapon, so they're 2-shotting these Hydras.
Yeah, this is what Tech needs to stay in this game. These DTs are getting so much value, actually. They literally killed like a control group. No, I mean, I think Cross definitely knows, but his Overlord speed was a bit late, and this is so many Corsairs.
Oh my gosh, they all died. All the Overlords died, and they're still, at least, yeah, both DTs are still alive. So this game is turning on its head. The Dark Templars have like 30 kills maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, finally they get cleaned up. Zealots in the back, but there's just not enough of them. The Sares are now down to, I think, 4? 6. So they're still racking up kills.
Yeah, and they have +1, so they are annihilating these overlords, but now they're down to 4. Well, Tech did enough damage there.
Yeah, and this is what I was waiting for, because you were talking about 3-gate that Tech had. As the game was unfolding, I was like, well, if Tech had like 6 gates or 7 gates, I think that this could overwhelm. And now he does have 7 gates. So he is going to try and strike before CroSs can build up again. Supply is plummeted for CroSs. He's down to 65. Meanwhile, Tech's at 90, and that's a drone cycle.
Yeah, I mean, well, he has to remake drones. He lost so many drones at his third, and he has 7 hatcheries, so he needs the income to use them. But here comes Tech again. Only Zealots here, no Storm quite yet, so these Hydras are going to be really efficient.
I think that's it.
But, well,
I think he's just going to get blocked again. Oh, that's a great drill. I was waiting for his drones to come and help save the day. Now this might just be too many Hydras. The drones comboed with the Hydras does allow CroSs to clean this up, but he still takes heavy Hydra losses. But look at the drone count, it's at 55.
Yeah, I mean, Cross just, this game is so close. Like, Cross is on the verge of just running away with this, just based off of the economy and the infrastructure. But Tech, he's making some good attacks to keep Zerg in check, but the attacks are kind of just barely falling flat. Behind this, though, Protoss does have a third base, so it is looking like possibly Tech can stabilize here, and this third base is actually really quick, so maybe Tech in this position can kind of play it slow, take a fourth base, get his upgrades rolling. See, he's actually upgrading armor. I think he's on 1-1, so he's gonna be on 1-2 eventually, and a couple of Mutalisks being morphed here from Cross actually.
You know what I was most surprised or most impressed with from CroSs' defense? It was he didn't get supply blocked the whole time, even though he lost like 30 overlords. Not once did I see him go into the red. So his crisis management is amazing, and somehow he's even in supply, 115 to 115. Meanwhile, Tech, just like last game, going for that double expand. If he can get 4 bases up and running, he'll still be in a great position.
Yeah. Well, if he can. We'll have to see here, because Cross, he did finish Lurker aspect. He made a couple Mutalisks here. And this is really where Protoss can be a bit weak, especially on this map. That third base is kind of like on low ground. It's very open. Mutalisks are coming in here. I don't know what the purpose of this is. Is it the Snipe Templar? Is it to kill probes? Both, probably. One Storm whiffs, has to make an Archon. The Corsairs are totally out of position. And Tech basically stopped making Corsairs. Second Storm whiffs, actually. So, okay, third Storm does connect, but this is 11 Mutalisks. This third base is going to get interrupted.
Yeah, third base gets interrupted. A full probe transfer. None of them get intercepted by the Mutalisks, so that's a nice save from Tech there. But these Mutalisks have done a lot of damage. They also forced out double Archon morph, so that's a lot of Storm lacking from the Protoss army now. And now look at CroSs' supply lead. It's up to 20 or so. He's at 145, and there's what I was waiting for. Tons of Lurkers being morphed.
I mean, Cross just had, again, he had such a huge lead in the early game. Like, he had 6 hatches so fast. Even if that attack, despite that attack from Tech being so strong, I mean, Zerg was just so ahead in terms of the infrastructure, and I think that's a combination of I mean, just the game state, but also Tech, I think, not quite super precise with his build orders today, kind of overbuilding probes. Committing to the second Stargate is a huge commitment, because, you just don't have Templar out in time. And Templar can be really good at pressuring Protoss or Zerg as well with the Zealot Templar combination. But now Cross senses blood, and he's just gonna go. I don't know about this attack though, through this small choke.
Yeah, this is a very tiny choke, and he picks up more of the Templars. Okay, that's a great Storm. Eliminates so many of the Mutas, but still is going to lose all of his AoE. But CroSs is attacking into a funnel. However, Protoss also has to funnel in to try and defend this. If CroSs gets onto the high ground, I think it's going to be lights out.
Yeah, I mean, Cross somehow just sniped every single Templar on the map. So Doesn't matter if you're going through a choke and there's no AoE. Actually, it's almost better to go through a choke because it funnels the zealots in. And the Hydras are ranged units, so they don't care. But I think Cross has done it, man. Look at the supply from Tech. It's plummeting. His resources aren't getting spent. And now this third base is compromised. And not only is this third base compromised, but the fourth base is compromised. Cross definitely knows about it now that the probes are transferring, but he doesn't care. He's just going to go for the kill at the natural.
Yeah, and there's not really much defense at all. These Hydras alone, okay, that's a big storm. I was going to say the Hydras alone could probably win the game, but he also has 4 or 5 lurkers behind it. Third Nexus is gone. Fourth base is still up for now, but it's just a matter of time. Unless Tech try and takes bottom left. I see he's got a bunch of pink stuff over there, but it's just Zealots. This is CroSs' game to take.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I don't think Tech really has much of a chance anymore. Of course, Cross is still only on 4 bases, so he could have definitely exploded to 5, 6 bases. That might be a silver lining here for the Protoss player. Maybe if he can hang on and rebuild an army, but 18 minutes in, you know his main is probably mined out. His natural's going to be mined out soon, so if Tech loses that 4th base, it's all but over, and now he's facing a solid contain with very few resources in the bank.
Yeah, and this might be the killing move. There's no storm in this army. It's just just zealots pretty much in cannons. Lurkers in the front. I didn't know about that move, but in the end, it still works out. There's just so many Hydras behind this. Archon is doing a good job to survive, but just an overwhelming amount of Hydras, and we are moments away from Tech exiting this game.
GG.
There it is. GG, and nicely done from CroSs.
Yeah.
He had a nice hold. I can't believe he didn't get supply blocked during that attack. And then the macro, incredible. How did he catch up so fast?
I don't know. How did he catch up?
Because he's got like 6 hatches, man.
I guess, man. That was impressive. I thought for a second it looked pretty bad for... It was looking kind of bad for Cross, but he hung on and won the game. So Cross is through to the winner's match. That sets us up beautifully for the next game. That's going to be Bonyth versus Cross. I think a lot of people are kind of eagerly waiting for this matchup. Just such an epic matchup to have in the round of 16 here. So we'll take a quick break first, guys. Don't go anywhere because you don't want to miss this one.
All right, we're back in my green screen. Still the corner, man. Can't. This is setting up the match I think that a lot of people wanted to see. It's going to be CroSs versus Bonyth. I already saw a few comments in the chat. This Zerg player, he's on top of his game. Can Bonyth keep up with him? I mean, Bonyth, he's a killer of Zerg, so I find it hard to believe that he won't be able to. But that macro from CroSs, I mean, that's nuts, man. Like, he was consistently even the whole game despite taking so much damage in the second game.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting matchup.
Thank you for that. Yes, I agree.
No, actually, I don't know why I was going to actually add something, but I thought that would be funny.
You're leaving it for the intro, or you're leaving it for the in-game take, right?
No. But actually, Bonyth has historically struggled against Zergs in the BSL. If we think back to specifically Eon Zerg and True Touch, some matches against him or against those players, which, you know, for a while Bonyth was looking kind of indestructible, PvT, PvP, and people were always putting question marks next to his PvZ because, you know, like, he would lose to True Touch, he would lose to Eon Zerg here and there, not always, you know, but sometimes. If he did lose, it was to those players, right? So up against Cross, though, we'll have to see if Cross kind of can live up to that level of play. I feel like Bonyth, though, he is just so good, right? Like, that being said, his PvZ is absolutely phenomenal, actually. And, you know, against Hawk, I mean, he made it look easy. So presumably, if this is played the same day, he should be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I think if I was Bonyth here, I might just play one base or something unstandard, because CroSs clearly is able to play standard, and CroSs likes to be in control of the game. So if you just throw him a curveball from the get-go, like just one base, whether it's Reaver or 2-gate or whatever, all of a sudden CroSs, you know, planned out build order can't unfold like that. Meanwhile, Bonyth obviously has tons of practice, because nobody on the ladder does one base play except Bonyth. So how often does CroSs actually get to play versus it? So, I mean, that's what I would do if I was Bonyth here. We'll see what he wants to opt for. I like that he's showed that he can one base, because there were a few seasons where he just waited into the finals to show the one base. I'm happy to see that he's bringing it out in the round of 16.
Yeah. We'll see, though, because I think the first map is Ascension, and Oh, sorry, it's actually Wavelet. Yeah, I was thinking about the earlier games, but Wavelet is going to be the first map here. So yeah, actually, we saw Bonyth whip out the one base on Goodnight, very similar map. So it is possible.
Yeah, it is possible, and because it is Wavelet,
Yeah.
you know, both players, I'm assuming, not a lot of experience, so they may just end up going into something that can end the game quickly, one way or the other. I wonder if CroSs will actually go for some type of Hydra play. We've seen him play some type of like 973 opener is what I mean, to try and just end the game quickly. We've seen him open standard lair both games we just saw. So yeah, this should be a cool matchup to see, especially on a new map. Are we ready to get into game one?
Yeah, of course we're ready now. What kind of question is that? Wavelet is going to be the map.
Look at that.
Get into it. Don't even try, man. You're literally trying to get us into the game, then you start talking about yippee-yapping.
Is that what I did?
Yeah.
I said, look at this EVP rating, man. The win rate, I mean.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's get into our winners match.
Prepare for battle.
Well, I'm prepared for battle, and in the top left, it's our blue Zerg. It is CroSs.
And top right, the red Protoss. Oh, who's this? Bonnet, that's right.
Who is this? It's just that guy. It's just that guy that always wins BSL. Now, I loaded up the Team Liquid thread because after you said it was Wavelet in the winners match, I was like, ho, what's our losers match and deciders match map going to be?
On Heartbreak Ridge.
And let's just say both players definitely want to win here because you do not want to play on Heartbreak Ridge.
Well, unless you're Zerg.
Well, I mean, the game is that map is very weird. There's whole types of stuff that can happen. So you know that they definitely want to get out of this ASAP. And this is going to be the patented Bonyth one gate expand.
Yeah, so no one base here. Again, when the games are pre-played though, you know that your opponent's most likely not seeing the previous games you played, right? So if this was live, then you know CroSs would have seen Bonyth do that one base versus Hawk. But because these are pre-played, I think you get to keep some of that information. So if Bonyth wanted to, he definitely could have went for a one base here, but we saw against Hulk, he actually went for the one base when he was up a game, feeling comfortable. So probably, you know, when Bonyth really wants to win, maybe he won't necessarily default to that.
Well, this is another 12 hatch opener from CroSs. And there is the pool. Okay, he was trying to put down the pool up there also in case that one got blocked, but it didn't. So we know that a lot of Zerg players have been going for 11 hatch into 10 pool. But this is going to be a little bit of a greedier opener. I think versus Bonyth in particular, this is quite greedy. We'll see if this will still work out fine. Remember, the first game, Bonyth sniped 2 drones versus Hawk.
Yeah, I mean, it was a massive
Oh
advantage.
man, that's almost dead.
That one drone's almost dead. Bonyth is putting on so much pressure, and to be honest, it's really impressive in this matchup, especially because, you know, as Protoss, you don't want to take too much damage on that probe early on, right? The more damage you take, the easier it is to get to lose it. And if you lose it too early, again, in this matchup, it can be really oppressive, especially against someone like CroSs. So the fact that he's willing to trade some of its HP to put on some harassment is impressive to me. Here comes the Zealot plus probe combination. Of course, very lethal against drones, but CroSs microing really well. Oh, he's gonna actually snipe the probe. No, probe is really low though. Does go down, and CroSs actually saves the low drone. And a lot of mining time though lost.
Yeah, a ton of mining time lost. So sometimes even if you don't get the drone, the fact that you're not mining for like 20 seconds now is worth it. But this Zealot is actually almost dead already. It's already lost all of its shields. I don't think he's going to snipe a drone this time. You can see that he's trying to find the weakened one. There isn't a second weakened one because that was used to build the extractor. Look at that. He just popped and go. Oh, he gets caught. And he does get taken down. So not the biggest damage that we've seen from Bonyth Zealots.
Yeah, that was beautifully played there from Cross to
there we go.
Not only not lose any of the drones, but he also built drones behind this. So he didn't make lings. I think probably Cross recognized that this was 20 Nexus, right? Like just the one Zealot Nexus or 18 Nexus, whatever it is. Sometimes it's a 2 Zealot Nexus, and that tends to be a bit more aggressive. But oh yeah, this was definitely an 18 Nexus where Bonyth kind of just expanded behind it. So
oh, he let him in. You had one job, Lings, and that was to not let the probe get in. I don't know how you don't just leave 2 Lings on the ramp. Yeah. It just waltzes in and sees everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, okay, Mihai, you played Zerg for a while. If this scenario happens, do you still commit to it, or are you transitioning out of it?
No, you definitely make the Hydras here. I mean, there's no point not to. But it is a tough spot because now I'm surprised Bonyth, you know, if you're Protoss in this situation, you actually want to pressure with your Zealots because if you move out with your Zealots, of course, Cross sees it with his Overlord. He has to respect them, so he's making Lings, which again delays his drone count, so he can't get up to the saturation that he wants to get up to as quickly. He has to make these Lings to deal with the Zealots first, then he can start making Hydras, which buys Protoss a lot of time. And Bonyth does recognize that this is, again, 973, so he's electing to skip his Stargate and go straight Citadel. And if you're a Zerg, you have to commit to all-in here. You cannot, against Citadel first, you cannot kind of do the fake the like fake all-in into macro, because then you only make like 6, maybe 7, 8 Hydras, and they get cleaned up by the Zealots with speed early on. So Cross has to all-in. He definitely has an opening though, because essentially those 3 Zealots did absolutely nothing. And he has no more Zealots. So if Cross makes only Hydras from here on, the 3 hatchery production should easily outpace the 3 gateway production.
Yeah, but Crossy lost his Overlord outside of the natural, so he's supply blocked. And then if there was a Templar Archive, ET could save the day. We see that there is no Templar Archive, but I'm just saying that could have been a possibility. 4 gate for Bonyth right now. Forward gate, obviously, is in the danger zone. Could get picked off once range kicks in. Or might just get picked off right now.
Yeah, I mean, Cross, he's so supply blocked. You can see his resources shooting up. He has to make Hydra. I think he's pulling his larva to just see what's up. But if he makes a hatchery here, if he makes like any drones rather, I mean, I think he can afford a hatchery, but if he makes any drones, I think the game is over. You can see Bonyth trying to buy time for that +1. That +1 is a huge upgrade. It's going to help him so much in fighting these Hydralisks. And it's really risky. You can see Bonyth's cannon positioning, actually. Those 2 cannons hugging the forge, they do help in defending it right now, but it's really easy to dive on top of those with the Hydras, actually. Generally, you would see Zerg kind of snipe the gate and forge first before diving in, if the cannons are placed kind of more to the back. But in this case, he can dive in before sniping those 2 buildings. But Cross is taking his time, and that actually lets Bonyth finish +1 weapons and leg speed. Where are Crossy's Hydras? He has a bunch of supply. Finally gets a group of Hydralisks here. This is going to be really close, man. He is committing to this Hydralisk production. He's not making any drones, just non-stop Hydras. +1 is finished, so that's going to help Bonyth, but well, he does have 5 gates, so actually really well done from Bonyth to basically just increase his production behind this.
Yeah, but I think Bonyth now realizes that this is an all-in, so he's starting to build up more cannons. Actually, he's only built 4. Okay, layer behind this. We'll see what Crossy wants to do with this, whether it's going to be like lurkers or a muta switch. But yeah, 4 gates are still done for Bonyth right now, so he's still got a lot of production. And Bonyth must suspect that this could be a switch because he's got a Stargate coming.
I think Crossy kind of messed up really hard. He had like 3 Overlords in production. He afforded this 4th hatchery rather. I mean, he has a lot of Hydras, Honestly, Protoss should be dead here, but I think Cross kind of just just didn't make as many Hydras as it could have. He's going to go here for this attack, but so many cannons warping in. Again, we know that Bonyth is on 5 gateway production, but the Zealots do eventually die. That's Templar, that's not Zealots! And they don't have speed, they don't have Storm, but just not enough Hydras just yet to break this front. And I mean, it's going to be so close, man. Storm's not done yet.
Yeah, but Storm is moments away. Here come those Hydras. There needs to be like 10 more seconds for the energy to build up. But the cannons are just so strong. A lot of the Hydras have taken a lot of hits too. So they're just getting beaten down. Or actually, Storm is about a couple seconds away. But Lair is finished. I don't see any Lair type of upgrades coming in. No Lurkers, no Spire anywhere, no anything. And that's actually a drone cycle from CroSs. So he's going to try and transition out of this.
Yeah, Cross realizes there's no busting the Protoss. When you see those 3 Templar walk down the ramp, and you know you can't kill the Protoss, it's just as much as you would want to try, you just can't bust Storm Cannon with any amount of Hydras at this point in the game. So, I mean, making drones is the only option he has, but he's so far behind. I mean, you know, that being said, Protoss does not have the biggest probe count, but he has like what, like 6 gate now versus basically 4 hatcheries? Okay, just 4 gates for now, so actually double forge.
Well, Protoss had to pull a lot of probes for a long time to save his naturals, so he doesn't have as many probes, he doesn't have as many gates, and CroSs is still okay in workers. It's 31 to 39, but he does need to cycle or get another cycle pretty soon because he definitely needs to catch up. There is the Lurker aspect, and Spire is about to finish too, so Stairs are going to be constantly built. He doesn't want to lose his Templars.
Yeah. Well, you know, as this game is progressing here, Lurker aspect is on the way, and there's no robotics being made just yet for Protoss, so Cross might have a bit of breathing room up ahead here if he can get some Lurkers out in time for this defense. But Bonyth is building up his Templar count. He's up to 5. Doesn't have too many Zealots, and again, doesn't have too many gateways. You can see he's actually making probes to try and catch up to that 40-something count that you would ideally want to have off of 2 bases. But likewise, Cross also has a lot of drones, but he has to make those hatcheries, man. He has to get up to 5 hatch, 6 hatch, which they are on the way. So actually,
I think Cross has done it, man. He's about to have Lurkers, he's about to have 6 hatch, and the standing army of Protoss is not that big. Like, once even like 4 Lurkers come out, he should be able to hold this attack.
Oh, but that Overlord is gonna... Okay, that Overlord dies!
Oh, he got supply blocked!
Yeah, and he does have 2 Lurkers on the way, so he should be fine.
Yeah, he will be fine. Of course, Bonyth doesn't know this, so he would have had to instantly attack, right, if he had gotten if CroSs had gotten supply blocked. But as you mentioned, the Robo is, I think it's okay timing for how the game is unfolded. 5th gate is, or the gateway count is surprisingly low, but we can see Bonyth's probe count. Well, actually, the probe count is perfect, sitting at 44 right now.
Yeah, Bonyth, I don't think will be able to end the game anytime soon because those 2 Lurkers will buy so much time until observers are out. But likewise, I think given this map, Protoss has an easy time actually taking a 3rd from this position. I think if he defends the top part, it'll be very easy for him to defend.
Oh my gosh, it's hold position. They're on stop. They're on stop. He wants to chew through all these Zealots and little... Oh, he snipes the Templar. Almost. It's so low, he still manages to get off a Storm. That's great crisis management for Bonyth, but he does snipe the 2nd Templar. And look at how low those Zealots are now.
I think that was almost slightly premature for Cross. I think if he had waited an extra second, really waited for Zealots to commit onto the Hydras, then there'd be no turning back for Bonyth. I think that would have been way better, but even then, he does clean all these Zealots up. And behind this, I mean, Protoss is surprised, plummeting relative to the Zerg. They're getting even here. Zerg has 6 hatcheries. Protoss still warping in his 7th and 8th gate. I think those 2 extra gates, 3 extra gates here. So, my god, dude, Cross has a huge tempo advantage here, despite the fact that basically, I think Bonyth had such a good opener to like survive there against Bonyth or
Well,
against Cross.
Yeah, the gateways are just too late. A lot of times you see Bonyth already on 8 gate, sometimes even 9 gate, or he's taking the third base, but
yeah,
he just completed his 6th and 7th gateway. This is way too late. And now Zerg is going to be able to set up a huge lurker contain, and the Hydras have great upgrades too. And there's no third base for Bonyth. Like, it'd be different if he took a third base and got contained. I mean, it would still be horrible position, but at least he'd have a lot of income coming in. But now, I mean, he doesn't have any zealots either. Okay, well, you can't suicide those.
Yeah, I can't lose those lurkers. Look at the supply, man. I'm getting flashbacks to, well, kind of. I mean, this is a much different game. But Boa versus Gornich from whatever, what was it, last week? Where Gornich just had a massive contain here onto the Protoss. And it was on this map, and I feel like it's the same situation here. I can't see, and the difference is that Cross actually has a massive economy behind this. He has, it's not like the 5 hatch, like basically super all in. No. Cross has 6 hatcheries, has all his upgrades going, has a decent drone count. You know, could be a bit higher, but there's gonna be so many units. That being said, Bonyth, look at that. You know, we were watching Tech play against Cross on Ascension, and I was mentioning he doesn't have that many Dragoons for being like 160 supply. And Bonyth, though, this game you can see just mass goons. This is what you need, just a huge Dragoon composition. And Goon Templar can be surprisingly cost effective.
Well, that was not cost effective. Those lurkers just dealt so much damage to those frontal goons, and there's so many weak goons now that we may see like 4 or 5 pop instantly. The Storm are pretty good, but the dodging is equally good. Look at that lurker field. There's just no way you can get out of it. Now that's an amazing Storm, but he's popping a couple of the popping a couple of the observers, gets a couple more Dragoons. I'd like to see like a small drone cycle from Crossy in case this doesn't work. He'll have killer econ, but he's still pretty much even in supply. Bonyth, he's trying to push out right now. I think if he doesn't get out here, this is going to be Crossy's game.
Yeah, he has to get out here because also his main and natural are running dry 15, 16 minutes into the game. Nice Storm, but you can see just that's all that's left of the Protoss units now. And it's just like one control group of goons, and the Storms are still on point, but as the unit count whittles down, Zerg gets increasingly more efficient with these Hydras. The Archon does finish though. That's going to tank a lot of damage, and another round of Dragoons comes in to supplement the standing army of Bonyth. So quickly glancing at the supply, Protoss is actually getting into a better situation, but again, he's on a timer. He has to get out before his main runs out. Goons are engaging the Hydra lurker composition. That was a fat Storm, but you know, the Hydra's still standing firm here.
Yeah, I thought that those Storms were actually going to turn the tide in favor of Crossy, but that's not something you want to see. Protoss is mined out in their main, so this is make or break for Bonyth. He's going to go for it again. Zealots in the front, taking so many hits from the lurkers, of course. Goons in the back, trying to range them down, but the Hydras are soaking up a lot of the shots, and supplies are actually in favor of Bonyth right now. Up 20. Did Crossy fizzle out?
It's really close because, like you said, I mean, Zerg does not have extra drones behind this. I don't think he went up to 7 hatcheries. He's still on 6 hatchery production. So this is all or nothing for both players. Cross is betting on Protoss just not being able to take a third base. He is mined out. This is basically getting to, that's it. I mean, Bonyth has maybe 1 or 2 more pushes to go. He's going to pull the trigger here. Still has a lot of goons, a lot of Templar. Hydras, though, are connecting on top of the goons, but half of them do die to Storm. More Hydras coming in, but I feel like Bonyth is going to barely break out.
Oh my gosh, he's got 3-2. Holy smokes, and Zerg is just at 0-1. Now, you would think, like, okay, he busted out. What is Zerg thinking? Like, oh my gosh, +2 just kicked in for Crossy, so a massive power spike for Bonyth kicks in, but not for Crossy. Now, Bonyth has a massive, or a pretty strong army, but remember, Crossy still has 3 base econ. Bonyth is mined out, like, he's not mining now, so this is kind of all he has for now. I think he should just fall back, right? Like, well, maybe he's gonna push it.
I think this is a massive lead to have this kind of upgrade advantage against Zerg, and he's just gonna go. He doesn't even care that he doesn't have Storm because his gateway units are so much stronger than they should be. Lurkers do finish, but Storm comes in. Fat Storm on top of a bunch of Paździors and Lurkers, and that second Storm connects with the rest of the Lurkers. The Goons standing firm here because of their massive upgrades, just completely shredding through the Zerg units. And Cross, oh man, this game kind of slipped away from him. Bonyth kind of, I mean, we did mention the early double forge, Nyokin, but it really came into play this game.
Well, it's not over yet, because you would think like, okay, well, there's rallied forces coming, but actually now Bonyth is sending. I thought he didn't have any reinforcements coming, and somehow Bonyth is actually going to win this game. You can see supplies have plummeted for CroSs. It's at 55 to 98, and Bonyth, he's gonna steal this away from CroSs. I thought for sure that contain was gonna work.
Yeah, GG called by Cross, and that game was crazy, man. To be fair though, I feel like Cross was actually in a losing position in that you know, his all-in wasn't gonna work. Like, he was kind of stuck between a hard and a rock plays. Rock? What the?
Yeah, but CroSs,
did you hear that one?
Yeah, I heard it. I think CroSs didn't realize that there was triple storm available. Those Templars had 3 storms every single time. Like, you saw him get caught by a few storms near the end, and it was just too many storms to eat. Man, that contain looked, I know, it's hard deadly.
To eat. Yeah, I feel like Cross was a bit too full to keep eating those storms, man. Yeah.
Well, regardless, both players played very well, because I thought CroSs was dead from the get-go. Like, when we saw Bonyth's counter unfolding, and because of how low eco CroSs was, he did a good job to recover. And then Bonyth, literally on his last stand, manages to win the game. So, crazy game.
Yeah, I mean, he had like maybe one more cycle but yeah, the double forge, just going double forge, especially after a failed all-in like that from Zerg, is super strong, and you saw that game paid extreme dividends, and he was able to basically wrap that up because of those upgrades. If he hadn't gone for those upgrades, man, I mean, the game would have been different. But
and he hit right before +2 kicked in for CroSs. It couldn't have been more of an anti-timing for him. Oh man, CroSs is gonna watch that replay and think, wow, 15 seconds is all I needed, maybe, and it would have been completely different. Well, Bonyth, he's now 1 game away for making it into the round of 8 again. In CroSs, we know that Revolver's a pretty hard map for Zerg. What's a good Zerg map? Are we gonna see Aztec? I mean, I think a lot of people like CDP.
There's just so many good Zerg maps on this map. Well, Aztec,
oh yeah, name one.
Heartbreak Ridge, Aztec, Goodnight. I think that vertebrae map, I'm not too sure who it's good for. You know, that's maybe one map that's kind of up in the air. But yeah, man, I mean, Heartbreak Ridge, Aztec, and Goodnight, definitely 100% good Zerg vs Protoss maps. So he has a lot to choose from. We'll have to see here. Bonyth, you know, if you're Bonyth, I feel like you're banning Heartbreak Ridge or something, but it's going to be Aztec here for game number 2. Bonyth is 1 game away from making the round of 8. Can he do it? Or can Cross take this to game number 3? Let's get into it.
Okay, in the mid-left position on Aztec, it is Bonyth.
And then at the 12 o'clock position, it is.
He's laughing
Cross.
at man. You looking at the chat? I can see you.
I'm looking at the where I said between a hard and a rock place.
Yeah, I see that right now. Chat is calling you out there.
That wasn't even on purpose, man. That
I mean,
was
it happens, man.
Well, yeah. Should I wave my ESL flag?
Yeah, ESL flag.
I mean, English is like my 3rd language.
I know, you know, like 4 languages.
Like my
it's
2nd
nuts.
language. No, it's not that nuts.
You know French, you know English.
You're an American, so you don't get it, but
it's 3 languages.
Let me tell you, if you go to Europe, everyone and their mothers is a polyglot. Polyglot. Sorry. Yeah.
All right. Well, we've got another gateway opener from Bonnet.
Even in Asia, man, there's people I know. They like
I know
Chinese,
they do.
Korean, Japanese, all of them.
When I flew to Japan, the lady there
you went to
spoke
Japan?
English. Yeah. She spoke English and Korean and Chinese and Japanese because I was asking about the quarantine rules.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, let me just look at the Japanese news." I'm like, "What?" And she's just busts out a news article and reads it, and she says, "Yeah, it's okay. You can go." I'm like, "All right."
That's actually hilarious, dude. Imagine you go to just any place and ask them for the rules, and they bust out a newspaper on you.
Yeah, that's what she did. I was like, "Wow." She was
like,
Korean,
can I use
so
the
she knew
bathroom? Oh, let me just check the news real quick.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Might be
man.
on lockdown. Wow.
You know what I've learned doing BSL?
What?
Stand-up's just not for me, man.
Yeah, it isn't.
I don't think I have good jokes.
Or maybe I'm just not feeling it. Maybe I don't respond properly. Maybe if
No,
you
you're
had
the
fatter
funny
on the
one,
cast.
man.
No, I definitely not. Maybe if you had fatter on the cast with you.
If I had fatter on the cast, would be even worse. That guy's really unfunny.
Come on now. Come on. That is pretty funny. Well, let's see if this Zealot can get some funny business done. He's coming into the main again with his friend, the Probe.
Yeah, his friend. You think they hold hands as they're like slamming drones?
Yeah, probably. Like, hold on, man.
That's a good first date to take your Probe out, too. Alright, so let's say if we dated Naokin, are you the Zealot or are you the Probe?
I'm the Probe because I want to be jabbing these people with my fist. For sure.
What? You said you're the Probe?
No, I'm the Zealot.
No, you said you're the Probe, dude.
Alright, well, this is just a disaster. You're talking about a rock and a hard in a rock place.
Whatever,
I can't even remember what I am, Probe or Zealot. Let's just talk about this game.
I just know Naokin likes fisting.
Okay. Well, there's a gap at the top, right?
There's a Probe there. Ooh, nice. Ooh, that was sick micro from Bonyth, actually. I can't believe he kept that in position. Cannon and Nexus warps in. Man, this is a good opening from Bonyth. I feel like that cannon was quite late, so he did get good timing on his Nexus, and his core is ahead of the lair. So overall, pretty nice here for Protoss, especially on a map like Aztec. You know, it's just such an annoying map. You know, when you start on the low ground like that, it's always a bit scary, right? So if you can just kind of get the early game out of the way like this, you're feeling pretty good.
Oh, this is... okay. Lings, I thought were actually going to be able to run by. But we see that this was a third hatch taken way across the map. So, well, I guess mid-right. But we'll see why CroSs ended up taking that. It has the third gas, of course, but I think this is mostly because there's an additional mineral patch. We're seeing the 3 Zealot move out again. This is going to put pressure on the CroSs, but this time around it's not a Hydra follow-up. It is just typical lair.
Yeah, it is. A couple Zealots coming in here, though. And not a lot of Lings for Cross just yet. So Bonyth is going to be able to get the ramp if he wants to, but no, he's going to commit. Remember, on Aztec, we saw this a couple weeks ago. There's nowhere to hide these Zealots. Like, there's no back mineral patch. Like, the minerals aren't against the wall here. So you would think that most Protosses kind of run in here thinking they have some more to go, but this is good micro from Bonyth. Actually takes the correct fight. Just such efficient trading from him, and that's going to force a couple... Nope. Cross is already making drones, but that was a good amount of pressure there for Bonyth.
Yeah, I thought he was going to build some more Lings, but no Lings were built. He just builds additional drones, not overreacting. We can see that his drone count relative to the probe count is quite nice. Citadel is already done. Corsair is going to be coming out. Oh, +1 is not spending on that forge.
Yeah, it's not, and that's very curious. That's definitely a mistake. +1 does start now, but it's just so late that this... I mean, Bonyth does... not getting the early upgrade there makes sense if you're expecting Zerg to play something like a 973, and now that he's established that most likely he's not getting Hydra busted, I think this is fine to start the +1. So it makes a lot of sense, and he's going to go for this 1-1 build. Really good opener so far for Bonyth.
Yep, we do see that the Sair is just going to get a glimpse at all of these hatcheries and turn around. 5 hatch, I think, for CroSs is what I saw. Meanwhile, Hydra speed is coming in for CroSs, and Scourge are just going to, be produced also to try and deal with the Sairs. Now, in Bonyth's main, okay, he actually has 3 gates already, so he's going to have a decent amount of units coming out pretty soon.
Yeah, again, I think Bonyth just had the better end of this early game. His build is so much cleaner, so much smoother here than CroSs that I think he's going to get into the mid game feeling really well, or really good rather. Does have cannons to cover. Oh, doesn't actually have a cannon to cover the Stargate. So luckily for him though, the Scourge don't stick around. It is kind of hard to land the Scourge right on top of the Corsair as it spawns. So understandable that Cross maybe doesn't want to spend some of his attention doing that. Instead, just making sure his build is progressing, and he is going to get into 6 hatch.
Yep, 6 hatch on the way. Meanwhile, 6 zealots moving across the map. Now they don't have +1, so we'll see how effective they are. Just not that many Hydras, but the Lings should buy. Oh, maybe not. Okay, drones are actually going to have to be pulled to try and. Oh, they don't bug out on the ramp, but luckily there are going to be some Hydras in the back to help save the day. But look at the probe count to drone count this time around. It's 50 to 33. So Bonyth, he is starting to run away with it.
Yeah, I mean, again, he was just in such a good position. He has so many Corsairs here. +1 is about to finish for both the Corsairs and the Zealots. That's a lot of Hydras though, and there's no storm quite yet. So if there's one timing for Cross to maybe pull this team back a bit, definitely this one. He is forcing a couple of cannons. Aztec, of course, very defensive map because you can kind of hold this high ground pretty efficiently. But when you have this many Hydras, those Zealots will not stand long.
Well, DT is out, and that means that these Hydras are going to be pushed back. The supply block is brutal for Cross. You can see he's still supply blocked. He ended up morphing 4 Overlords to just unstuck himself. Yeah. Now, he's still down 17 workers, and you can see Bonyth has cut probes, so he's going to have that huge gateway flood. I see, what does that say, 5 in production right now? So his supply is going to shoot up like a rocket in the next few seconds.
Yeah. It's going to be...
He's going to blast into outer space. Yeah, he's on Blue Origin. He's going to find that guy in the round of 24.
Yeah, that guy
for the Star Trek episode.
You can't just reference. I don't even know who that was. I keep forgetting. But that was a funny joke, man. That's the kind of that was the kind of moment that really.
Well, you thought it was funny. You were. Oh
no, it was objectively funny.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, Cade Iron Amulet's on the way, so you know things are about to get rowdy.
Oh yeah, we saw tons of storm last game. I'm sure there's gonna be a ton of them this time around. Is that no range? The range is not started, but robotics is already done.
Well, robotics is done. Is it? Does he have an observatory?
Yeah, it's done.
He does not.
Okay, guess he doesn't have the observatory.
Well, Lurker aspect is going to finish, so again, Cross will be able to play defensively. And we saw this configuration time and again here on the BSL channel, you know, in the Continents battle as well as this tournament. This 4-base configuration here for Zerg on these clockwise spawns from Protoss. It's just so defensive. Zerg can play so defensive, get these 4 bases going, and kind of feel really comfortable. So we'll see. I mean, Bonyth has a huge supply lead here. He's definitely ahead in this game, but he has some time to do some damage. That was a fat storm, but good dodge actually from Cross, and it's only 1 Templar. Corsairs do join the mix to see if maybe they can, in combination with the Zealots, kill a couple of Overlords, but I think Bonyth thinks better of it though. With these Hydras coming in on the low ground, all the Overlords are exposed, but
but Bonyth is not taking this opportunity to kill them. And actually, such a huge missed opportunity. That was like 5 Overlords open at CroSs third base. Okay, now Bonyth is going to go for it. Let's see if it works. But Hydras pop in just in the nick of time here. So I think Cross very fortunate there. And he's actually kind of coming ahead from this because you can see the supplies have gone close. Bonyth is floating a lot of minerals.
Yeah, and range is only like 25% done, and it's pure zealots basically with just 2 or 3 Templars mixed in. The Sayers are gonna get picked off by these Hydras, and this is a huge loss. Meanwhile, there's a storm on the other side of the map, so that's why these Sayers got picked off. DT may actually end up killing this 4th hatch or 4th base.
Yeah.
CroSs needs to send some units over there.
That DT is gonna make or break this game, I feel. Well, I mean, it's gonna keep Bonyth in the game because I feel like had this DT not okay, it doesn't even kill the hatchery. So I feel like Cross is definitely in a really good spot. Bonyth from here most likely can only really think about double expanding because it's so hard to attack as Protoss in this situation. I think you can only really just kind of sit back, get your upgrades going. See plus or some armor upgrade is on the way. I don't know if that's +2 armor. And there's a shuttle in production. So Bonyth, I think he's gonna adjust his strategy here a bit instead of just trying to go for a bust. But so many Mulists queued up here.
Yeah, 12 mutas in production for CroSs. He knows that all the Corsairs died, so this is his moment to pick off all those Templars. There's not that many Dragoons out. It's like 7, and of course Dragoon's not that great versus mutas in general. Zealot bomb did not get scouted, and it is going to unload in the main. And Bonyth is starting to make it crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of Mutalisks though, so these Mutalisks can definitely rotate back into the main. They're a bit far away. No, instead they're gonna shark around for some Templar snipes. 1 Templar goes down. That storm didn't quite connect. 2nd Templar goes down as well. Now there's no storm with this army, but 8 Zealots inside of CroSs main base. They're gonna fight these Hydras. I think the pool actually tanked a couple of those Zealot hits as well. But this is gonna get cleaned up. But because Cross had to move a lot of his Hydras back into the main, there's no follow-up attack after killing those 2 Templar. But Cross just has so many units on the field. So does Bonyth, but he doesn't have any storm. And he's going to take this fight dry without any AoE. Looking at Bonyth's reinforcements, I mean, I think he has a couple of Templar. No, just 1. That does have 3 storms, but it's only 1 Templar. And, you know, there's a delay between casting abilities from the same unit. So Bonyth will have to pull back for now.
Yeah, he's gonna catch this shuttle. Of course, there's nothing in it. We know that, but he doesn't know that. But the Spire did fall, and the game did start getting pretty wild. So we don't even know if... okay, the drones did get transferred back to me, but I'm looking at that 4th base of CroSs. There's not many. I don't even think there's any drones there. Yeah, there's none. It seems he forgot about that hatch. None of the larvae even being used either. But here comes a massive attack from CroSs. He picks off the Templar, but 2 more Templars in the back.
Yeah, that was a massive storm though. All the mutas did die. So many Hydras just walking across the map. And Bonyth just doesn't have that many units. He's going to hold his high ground. Another storm connects. It's all about how good these storms are, but actually the Templar run out, so he has to morph them into Archons. And there's not that many units. The high ground is working wonderfully for Bonyth, of course, absorbing a lot of the Hydras DPS. But I feel like Bonyth just doesn't seem to have enough units. Here comes another storm.
Templar in the back. He needs a nice haymaker. That's a good one right there. He still has another storm available. Just barely crossing. He's so close to pushing through. But it looks like Bonyth might actually be able to hold on. But now there's only goons left.
Yeah, but Bonyth has +2 armor. So really good timing for him. 2-1. Wow, that Templar actually had 13 kills. And those were all Hydras. Zealots coming in to reinforce these goons. So Bonyth is going to survive. I think Bonyth is also trying to take that base. 4th base at the same time. Yeah, the Nexus is finished actually, but there's no cannons there, so that's compromised. And Cross is just rallying units across the map. This 3rd base is open. There's no cannons there either. Probes are going to die for sure. Bonyth feels compelled to have to defend this base. I mean, he definitely does have to because he has very few economy, or very small economy if he loses this base. Hydras finally do get cleaned up. Somehow Cross just does not make this attack stick. It looks like he's
bleeding a lot of units. Where's the observer?
There is no observer. The Hydra's picked off the single observer, but here comes another one reinforcing. Supplies are even right now. It's 90 to 85, but obviously reinforcement advantage for Bonyth, so he is going to clean up all these lurkers, clean up these Hydras too. And still, I don't notice any drones at that 4th base for CroSs.
Yeah, Cross just non-stop unit production here. He smells weakness. He wants to push in here before Protoss grabs this 4th base. Though the Nexus stands, you know, surprisingly, I think Cross definitely overextended. I don't think Cross necessarily needed to go in to try and kill that 3rd base. I think if he just held this position here where they're fighting, he could have just taken out the 4th Nexus and macroed behind it. But as played, that, you know, that didn't happen. And Bonyth is actually surviving here, and he's counterattacking. He's pushing the Zerg back.
Yeah, Zerg is, well, this Hydra control is pretty nuts, but the lurkers do get morphed, and he's going to wipe out all of these goons, but there's still just too many zealots.
Yeah, and these zealots actually surround the lurkers, so super efficient at removing them. And without lurkers here to support this army, Cross has, you know, he still has a lot of units. But still, I think on that 7 hatchery production, hasn't made a round of drones. So honestly, Bonyth securing this 4th base is huge, but he lets a couple of Hydras sneak in, but then, and the Nexus is already so
you gotta shoot it, man.
He's not shooting it, and he's killing probes instead. What a huge mistake by Cross. He could have easily killed this Nexus, but wait a second, there's another hit squad at the bottom. Hydra Lurk gets warded away with Storm. Oh my god, what a huge blunder by Cross.
Yeah, I thought CroSs was going to snipe that easily, but that means Bonyth is going to have 4 bases up. He's mined out in his main as natural, so... Oh, that lurker! Can he be the hero? Oh, he tried to get the probes, but just not enough damage. And okay, this is gonna seal the deal. He's gonna come in here with some mutas, pop the Templar, and pop that Nexus.
He has to kill that Nexus. Is he realize how low it is, or is he gonna go for the probes again? I mean, going for the probes is fine too. Storm on top of the Mutalisks, has to dodge these, cannot lose the Mutalisks. He's killing a lot of probes. If he kills the probes and the Nexus, I mean, that's huge. Yeah, of course the Nexus is gonna go down. Really quick thinking there from Cross, actually, to make a couple of Mutalisks in this hectic situation to clean up that Nexus. And on top of that, he killed a lot of probes, so...
Yeah. And now Bonyth is on 1 base. Meanwhile, being Zerg, he has a little bit in his main, a little bit in his natural. He still has that 4th base. I think I see a little bit of mining there now.
Yeah.
But this is still a strong army for Protoss. You can see +3 weapon is about to kick in for Protoss.
Yeah, +3 is about to kick in right before, or right after the fight starts. So Bonyth is not going to have that going for him. So many Hydras left over, but this Archon is doing so much, tanking in the front line. Storm connects as well. The Protoss units are so fat, though. I think, yeah, 2-2 upgrades just huge. Against the 2-1 from Cross. And they're pushing in here, Nyokin. Like, the supplies, despite the fact that Bonyth doesn't have that many workers, he's ahead in supplies, so his army is significantly bigger than the Zerg army.
Yeah, so actually it was just +2 weapon for Bonyth. I didn't realize that. I thought it was +3. He is re-securing his 4th base, though. Templar gets picked off, but he's going to trade 2 Hydras for it. And both players, wow, this is just razor thin. Mined out in the main, mined out in the natural. CroSs is now mining on 2 bases. Oh, his 3rd base is almost gone, so CroSs needs to get a 5th base. There it is at bottom right. But Bonyth realizes this, and he's relentless with this Goon Templar combo.
Yeah, just non-stop attacking here. Knows he's kind of in a tough situation after losing all those probes, but he's making it work. He's mining from 2 bases still. Actually, 39 probes for a 2-base economy is quite decent. And just rallying more units. Cross, he is beginning to shrink the supply gap, though. He does have more workers, so as this game is prolonged, Zerg presumably is going to start pulling ahead, but he has to survive.
Well, Bonyth does not find that 5th base. Instead, he's got his eyes set on the 3rd base. There's a lurker morph to try and buy time, and that's another amazing storm. It seems like every single storm connects. Archon falls, but CroSs has a ton of Hydras now.
Yeah, so many Hydras coming in from all sides.
Oh!
inside the main. Cross doesn't notice it because, of course, the DT is one-shotting the drones, and you're not getting the alert there. 10 kills on that DT. I think he wiped out that middle line completely. Though Bonyth is kind of losing a couple of units here. That last storm was pretty fat for him. And now Bonyth actually is ahead in worker count. So I think Bonyth, man, somehow with that DT drop just managed to pull it back significantly. And I think Zerg's a bit on the back foot now.
Yeah, if Bonyth was playing passive, I think Zerg would still be in okay position. But because he's just constantly out on the map, there's no chance for Zerg to even go for a drone cycle. Look at him. He's just relentless. He's out on the map again, on the prowl, looking to take down these hydras. He knows he just got like 15 drone kills. Zerg is in a dire situation. If he finds this 5th base, I think it's all but over. Even a 5th base coming down for Bonyth.
Yeah, I mean, Bonyth is in the driver's seat now. More Mutalisks getting popped here, but not quite enough time to snipe these Templar before the fight starts. 2 storms, fat storms, connect onto all of the Hydras as well as the Mutalisks. So actually, Zerg's units are really, really low on HP. More Mutas coming in. They do get stormed. And oh my god, that's so many Zealots left over. Just getting on top of the Hydras. Absolutely chopping them down. Couple goons in the back as well, holding firm against the Mutalisks. Final storm actually cleans up the rest of these Mutalisks HP. But, I mean, Cross, now he's starting to lose a lot of drones as well.
Yeah, supplies now have finally caved in for Zerg, and I think this is going to be it. Bonyth will take game 2. The 4th base falls. No more econ for CroSs. Like, he's basically not even mining at this point. And that means that Bonyth, he is going to be the winner of our initial group in the round of 16. GG. What a series. This was surprisingly very even. Like, CroSs could have won game 1, and for sure he could have won this game too, attacking uphill. As you stated, he could have just sat there, killed the 4th base, and then Protoss would have been down to 1 base that only has six patches. That's it.
Yep. I mean, Bonyth taking this series 2-0, but I feel like the scoreline doesn't quite capture just how close these games were, because back and forth throughout. I think Cross had good chances. You know, in another time, this was a 2-0 for Cross. You know, I mean, that being said, though, if Cross had won the first game, second game wouldn't have been played on Aztec. But game's incredibly close here. Bonyth, first player through to the round of 8 here in basically the bracket stage. And I mean, that's just the first part of this group, guys. We still have the elimination match as well as the last chance match coming up in a bit here. Hawk versus Tech is going to be the next series. But before we get into that, we'll take a quick break, so don't go anywhere.
time for our losers match. It's going to be Tech versus Hawk. Battle between the Americas coming at us. We saw Hawk. I almost called him Hack. We saw Hawk get crushed.
Hawk, dude.
Hawk. We saw Hawk kind of just get crushed by Bonyth, and I mean, Tech did very well versus CroSs, but CroSs just ridiculous macro. And Hawk has great macro too, so I think this is gonna be another tough matchup for Tech. However, his timings were pretty slick, and that double DT move that he did that racked up like 25 Hydra kills. I don't know if Hawk can recover as nicely as CroSs did.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, we'll have to see. Hawk though he's really good at ZVP, man. I mean, I think he plays a very different style from Cross in that he's not going to be as aggressive. He's not going to be as tight in the early mid game. But I think Hawk is definitely way more comfortable with playing a very long, drawn-out game. And we saw Cross versus Bonyth, where Cross was just constantly attacking, even in the mid game. Hawk instead would probably kind of just sit back there and tech the defilers and start plaguing stuff, and that's a really hard style to deal with. So we'll have to see here, Tech, how he chooses to handle Hawk. But let me tell you something, Nyokin, for the elimination match and the last chance match, we are going to be playing on Heartbreak Ridge.
Yeah, your favorite map, right? You told me this is a good Zerg map, so
tell
me why.
Protoss. I don't know. You tell me why. I'm sure you know.
Well, it must be a good Zerg map because I know Yellow beat Bisu on it 15 years ago, right? That doesn't happen.
That shouldn't happen.
Bisu probably played Yellow like 100 games and probably didn't lose any of them. And that was the one game he lost.
On TV, man.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Well, I remember that game because the fans were going nuts. I was going nuts. I was like, what the hell is this?
Everyone remembers that game. Remember how Team Ace were a joke?
Yeah. But they are able to sneak out victories from time to time.
Yeah.
Well, I know there's a lot of funky things Protoss can do here too. I was talking, I think last time, like you can forge wall bottom left, if I remember correctly. It's been so long, and like drones can't get out. I can't remember, but I remember off-racing a Zerg a couple times, and that happened. I was like, oh, okay, I'm just never gonna play this map again. There's just so many things about this map that makes it a nightmare. Proxygate is a big thing on here too.
Well, if it's like Proxy 2 gate.
Yeah, Proxy 2 gate.
Yeah. Well, that used to be I mean, you can like proxy it to that, like next to the first high ground. But anyway, Heartbreak Ridge, game number 1 here between Hawk and Tech in the losers match. Both playing for their tournament lives here.
All right, our North American player in the mid left, it is Hawk.
And our South American Chilean player, it is Tech. The right side here.
Yeah, so I thought we were gonna see a 5 pull from Hawk because I always get debated, man. Like when we zoom in, like I don't see any larva being morphed.
Yeah.
And it's just because we haven't mined the 50 minerals yet. Now Tech. Okay, I thought that was a little bit too fast for forward pylon. Okay. Yeah, it is just a normal. Wow. That seems way far ahead.
Yeah, that's definitely not the spot. That's definitely not the spot. I think Zero had a better idea as well. A bit far forward. We'll see if he makes it work here. Hawk, though, not the most aggressive player. So, okay, checking for possible pylon over there, which is, I don't know if you proxy 2-gate there, but you can definitely proxy something there.
Yeah, and like, you don't ever see Zerg players do stuff like that. So the fact that Hawk went for that kind of tells you all you need to know about Heartbreak Ridge. Is there's a lot of shenanigans that can go down. Now this was an overpull opener from Hawk and a fast scout from Tech, so this is going to be a little bit annoying.
Yeah, it is going to be annoying, but Hawk not gonna be feeling too bad. Of course, when you see this really fast probe, you kind of assume that there's a forge behind it. It's very rare for Protoss to scout this fast with the Zealot opener. So Hawk should kind of implicitly have some information to work with.
Now, let's see if that hatchery does get delayed by this probe. It looks like it doesn't. And again, another forge opener from Tech. So, okay, but he does go with the 13 Nexus, so that's going to be great for him. He gets like a read on the Ling count also, so may be able to get away with just a single cannon.
Yeah, I mean, he should be fine with this. Now, Tech, in his series against Cross, at least the first game, he made a huge mistake going for that early Zealot instead of...
That drone is up to no good, Mihai.
Yeah.
That is going to be mining out that mineral patch, and he loses his probe, so he has no idea. And this is why if you ever see this map on the ladder, you insta-veto it, because that drone, that single drone that went unscouted, may completely change the tide of this game.
Yeah, that's totally right, Naokin. And, you know...
Now,
Hulk...
he doesn't get minerals when he mines this, by the way. So he just continues to mine it, and then it just creates an opening. And then Hawk's going to walk in, and Tech's going to be like, but I've got a cannon. and it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, but it's not covering the ramp at the bottom there.
Yeah.
So we'll see, though. You know, when this used to be played a lot, people were very wary of that mineral patch. So generally, players would place a depot or like a pylon, something to spot, or like a unit. But this early into the game, it does eat into your build order. Tech. Okay, he knows what's up.
Okay,
no, he does
wow,
see it.
he sees it. He does see it. And the drone, watch him mine this. That'd be hilarious.
No, but I think on the other mineral patch for the left side, I think you can actually range the drone. But this one, I don't think you can. Maybe if he moves more to the left. But Tech kind of missing an opportunity there. It is possible that you might be able to range that drone, but at least he knows what's up. So he's going to be able to... Well, here's the thing. Like, what do you do? You know, it's just annoying as Protoss. Now you have to worry about that the whole game.
Yeah. And I don't even know if that probe got in and saw that this is a 3-hatch follow-up. But yeah, you have to keep that in the back of your mind. And if enough height or... This is a map where actually you can just sit on the high ground and range the probes. Like, that's also a thing. So, if I was Tech here, I would rush Citadel, rush Temple Archive, and then try and get a single DT to potentially shut down that from happening. But there's already an Overlord.
Well, here come the Lings, and this is, well, Hawk definitely had to pay to do this, right? He had to pull a drone early on to actually mine that mineral patch, but it's definitely paid for itself. Tech had to pull that one probe, and now he's forced into possibly making a cannon here, I would think. So again, good investment there from Hawk in the early game. He has a couple Hydras coming, so he actually has a 973 follow-up here. And I mean, Tech, is he going to be able to live through this? Because his Corsair is on the way. He has no idea this is happening, actually.
At first, 3 Zealots are going to intercept this Hydra move out. So he knows that this is a pressure build, but more Hydras coming from the backside. The Zealots are doing a decent amount of damage. However, Ling's now going to combo with the Hydras, and this attack should get shut down.
It should get shut down from Tech, but...
oh no.
Yeah, I mean, what does he have to defend here? His cannons aren't warped in. Hydra speed is about to finish. I think that Hydra range is finished. You know, it should be 6 minutes in. He's gonna have both upgrades, and these three Zealots might be a nuisance, but I feel like Tech's front door is about to die.
Yeah, I think he's dead. His +1 is gonna get canceled 100%. And even if he survives here, the Hydras can just go behind the mineral line.
Yeah.
Either way, this base is gonna be shut down. I don't know how 2 Zealots got across the map and are actually buying time, but they did. But Hawk could be moments away from ending this game. 6 cannons were put up for Tech though. So I'd like to see these. Yeah, he's just gonna send them behind the mineral line. Tech's gonna hate himself when he sees this.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, look at the supply too. Protoss is struggling. He lost all those zealots. Worker count is even, and there's no counterplay here. I mean,
He has no gates. He has no gates, so this is just a shut down mineral line.
Damn, this is I kind of feel dirty watching this.
Yeah.
Hawk must have felt really good doing this. I feel really good watching this. Does it actually range? Do those Hydras range?
No, they just gotta wait for range. But I know one player for sure in the chat that's loving this. I know
they don't.
Yeah, now that he's got it, it's gonna range. I know Jaeyoon is loving this. He's definitely comes to mind. Some dirty Zerg player that would be pulling this. Oh, he just tapped out instantly. Yeah, like I said, like there's just.
That's dirty, man. That's
but
absolutely dirty.
Remember, I said the DT. I think the one DT could have shut it down and bought time. But yeah, that Heartbreak Ridge. Now that 973 and Zergs know how to macro better, I don't know how you can ever deal with something like that.
Yeah, some of these maps are interesting to revisit with the more modern meta, but they can turn out to be incredibly broken. So. You really have to practice a lot on these maps to find solutions to stuff like that, and yeah, it's hard, man. It's hard when you it's hard map.
Yeah, I'm sure Tech thought it was a hard map for Zerg. Mine out a mineral patch and build Hydras and just sit behind the mineral line. Oh my gosh, that's a veto. That's a veto. So. Now it's gonna be Tech's choice.
It here, though.
Yeah, I know you can't veto it here. Well, we already know Tech picked Good Night, which we thought wasn't the greatest map.
Yeah, so you would think he felt comfortable. He would feel comfortable on Heartbreak Ridge. It's kind of weird how that goes.
Yeah, right. Nobody's comfortable on Heartbreak Ridge. But I think that means we're probably just gonna see Good Night again. Hawk one game away from taking the series, and then we'll have potentially a Hawk versus Crossy matchup, battle of NA.
Yeah, Tech is on the brink here. He has to win this game. Up against the ropes, Hawk gets one veto, which, you're thinking Revolver or possibly Ascension. But just, okay, Good Night again. So this is Tech clearly feeling confident on this map. It is a ladder map, so he probably has a lot of practice on it, but I think Hawk will be quite happy to see this one. I know he knows, or rather I know he thinks this is a good Zerg map versus Protoss. Game 2, Good Night. Tech must win to stay in the tournament.
All right, our pink Protoss player up against the ropes, as you said. It is Tech.
And in the bottom right, in the red Zerg, it is Hawk SC.
I like what you said about the up against the ropes, because I was looking at Tech's photo, and he's got that fist, man. He's a fighter. Who else would you want if they're up against the rope? What do you think his finishing move?
I love fists.
I do. I love jabbing those drones down because I'm the zealot, man.
Yeah, I'm the little probe, man. But you gotta, I might be small, but I can warp in buildings from planets away.
This isn't StarCraft 2. There's none of that.
What do you mean? Yeah, there is. You warp. The lore is that. You know what the lore? Okay, now do you actually know what the lore is behind the Protoss buildings?
No.
Have you ever played Did you read the StarCraft thing?
No, literally, this is what happened to me with StarCraft. I went to my friend's house.
No, I don't care. You already said the story. No. You saw him play, and then you went to buy it yourself. No. You're not getting out of these questions. I have to know. Do you know what happens when the zealots die?
They get turned into a goon.
Okay, but do you know what that blue thing is?
No.
When they die, they go Bleh! And then
is that what they do?
Yeah, so they get beamed out as they're dying back to Ire, and then they put their deformed whatever into Dragoons. But the buildings, okay, you know what they do? They're warping in the buildings. They're actually built on Ire. So like the Forge and the Gateway and stuff, they're like pre-built. They're like, you know, you go to Best Buy, you have like pre-built desktops. They're like pre-built on Ire, and then they just warp them in. So they don't actually build anything. That's why the Pro can just kind of zoom around and do everything, because they don't actually do any work.
You don't do any work.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
No, I didn't know this at all.
well, you're welcome. Now,
Thank you.
what's confusing me is that the jungle tile set is supposed to be Ire, right? So I don't know why they're warping buildings on Ire when they're already built there, but I guess they just kind of move them places. I wonder where, like you know, if you're in the on Ire, like where is? They must have like a warehouse, like a storage, and then they just have a bunch of gates. And the guy that oversees that is like the gateway man.
The gateway man.
Yeah.
I've
Right,
never
like
thought-
they have to store those somewhere, right? And then you have like a pylon storage, you have like a gateway storage. Like,
I've never thought about this in my life. I had no idea that this is how it works.
and how did they move them? Like, did they always warp them in, or do they have to like put them on a trolley first to like move them around?
Well,
Because like warping might actually.
I have a
really
feeling
expensive.
I have a feeling if you can warp stuff in, you're not using a trolley.
Like, do they mine minerals because they have to like put the minerals are like the element they need to start the warping process, or?
You're going overboard.
And like I don't
don't
get
know.
why does Zerg mine minerals? Because their drones just kind of like turn into buildings. Like it makes no sense. Like do they just ingest a bunch of they go to the hatchery first, ingest a bunch of minerals inside their body, and then if they like the more they eat, like a drone has to eat a lot to become a hatchery, you know? So they're just putting in all the minerals. And then sometimes they get some gas too, and that reaction causes them to turn into the disgusting building that is a hydraulic plant. And then somehow
lost
that
me.
like when the drone actually turns into a building, it like teaches the Overmind new tech, so that the Overmind knows how to. It makes no sense. The lore makes no sense because the thing behind Zerg is they go around and they like assimilate other creatures.
Okay, well, we've got a Citadel opener from Tech. So again, he's going to go for some heavy Zealot pressure. It's only on one gate, though. Meanwhile, Hawk, he is just going for the typical Spire opener, I think. Can't see that building at the... Oh, yeah, there's the Spire, just now started.
Well,
So typical opener from Hawk.
yeah, the Spire does seem a bit late. The core was done, and I mean Citadel is finished. So somehow Hawk does have a lot of drones though compared to the Protoss player. There's timing from Tech. I mean you can see triple gateway here. Second gas, almost a fake, but he is
I like
mining
that.
it.
I like that second gas fake, but it's kind of late, so it kind of gives it away. But yeah, I like that he's still mining it, so it kind of tries to throw off Zerg. Now, what's the follow-up? Because this looks like a Nyokin build. I go or go like 4-gate speed zealot. Usually when I do this, I follow up with double Stargate.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing.
Well, we saw it have success versus Crossy, so maybe he's replaying that game in his head and thinking, okay, well, with minor adjustments, maybe this could end differently. And we know players like Mini try to make moves like this happen. I think in ASL he even pulled it out versus Zero. I can't remember exactly, but
Yeah, he did.
We do see 5 hatches for Hawk. Goon is going to try and snipe that Overlord, but it looks like it's going to escape in the nick of time.
Well, here comes the timing. 6 minutes. This is so early. 6 minutes for +1 speed lock. Generally around this time is when, you know, Zerg's still droning up. They don't really have sunks or anything, but looks like Mutalisks are on the way. So the Spire finished, and actually Hawk has a couple of sunks as well. So despite this insanely early timing from Tech, that is only a couple of Zealots, maybe 4 or 5 total. 2 more lagging behind with the 1 Dragoon. but here comes all the Mulists, and that's it.
This attack is so funny. There's just like 3 Zealots and a Goon, and even if you don't have anything, well, you see it got cleaned up so fast, and I thought for sure this was going to be like a double Stargate follow-up because he mined so much gas behind it, but it's Templars.
Yeah. Well, this makes sense as well. I mean, I guess, but he's really far behind. Like, that attack did absolutely nothing, and this type of like super fast Zealot timing is designed to do damage because you're kind of sacrificing a lot of infrastructure. Like, without the Stargate, you have to go Dark Archon here, but he's making Templar to live versus some kind of Hydralisk counterattack. But there is, I don't know, this is just a disastrous situation for Protoss. He has no anti-air, and the mineral line's open.
You can't morph those Templars because if they morph, oh my gosh, he almost got the Archon within range of the cannon. But both Templars fall, and now there's an exposed mineral line. 3 Zealots are going to attack the 3rd base, but look at that sunken positioning. This looks like this is just going to be an easy hold from Hawk. Whether he wins here or not, it doesn't matter. He's going to be going into the mid-game in an amazing position.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think this is game over. GG.
There it is. GG.
You see that timing? I think that's the first time I've ever called a game and been right. See how I said it? I think it's game over, and he just insta left.
Yeah, a lot of times you say it's over at like the 3-minute mark. I'm like, we just put down a lair, Gypsy. How's it already over?
I mean, it was over. That game, Hawk versus Bonyth.
Apparently,
that's when I said it was over, when he made the lair, and he was behind the whole game. So technically that was also correct.
And I'm gonna just give it to you here and say that you were probably technically correct with all your ire comments, because I'm not an expert on it.
I know, because when I was young, I was reading the StarCraft books. I was reading the... You know, maybe you were out on... You were like a boomer, you were out on BattleNet. I was still in Don't go anywhere, guys. We still have one more series. It is going to be Hawk versus Cross in the last chance match. I think I caught Zero off guard.
right, we're back, guys, and this is going to be the final match of the day. It's going to be a ZVZ, so finally we're going to get a little bit different matchup. And this is going to be very, very interesting because CroSs, obviously a killer these days, super aggro. And you mentioned that Hawk, at least in ZVP and ZVT, is more content with playing passive. So I wonder if we'll see Hawk potentially go for like a Spore opener and CroSs try and be the aggressive one on like one hatch play. Apparently that blew up Mihai's brain.
You think that's his plan? Is I'm gonna make
Well, I don't know. You're
Spore?
talking about passive. I don't know how else you can be passive in CVZ. That's the only thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Unless you're gonna go Hydras, which we've seen like Gornich and Tide 2 pull out, but I doubt
Yeah, remember
that.
those days, man, where we saw several of those games back to back?
Yeah, it was like 2 years ago.
I'll take this this opportunity here, guys, to just mention, you know, we have this stretch goal here to make BSL13 happen. We've been getting some sick donations for the past couple of weeks here, but you know, again, BSL is not cheap to run, so the support is appreciated. We have been running BSL off of just straight up community support for the past like 3 seasons here, so, and it keeps going and going, and I'm sure we'll meet this by the end of the season, but it is super appreciated, obviously, guys. But yeah, I don't know, Nick, I just didn't want to hear what you had to say.
I'm aware. So now you've thrown me off. I mean, I'm still thinking about your ire rant. I'm just like
we can go into the lore even more if you want.
No. As soon as you started talking about like beaming them in, I just instantly thought of Star Trek, and I was like, yeah, this is probably why I didn't read the lore.
Yeah. Well, StarCraft does not have the best lore, to be honest with you. I feel like I mean, Brood War had a pretty decent campaign overall, but you can tell it's very outdated and just like a bunch of old white dudes wrote the story. So, but you know, Brood War is pretty dope. The campaign, I feel like, was pretty interesting, but StarCraft 2 just absolutely disgusting. It's the worst story I've ever.
I heard campaign was great in StarCraft 2. No?
Who'd you hear that from? Father?
Like Machine and them. I'm pretty okay. I think I did. Maybe not. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is
That's
our
a hot take.
This is our final matchup. It's going to be CroSs versus Hawk. You're more familiar with these players, so
I am because
you actually play with them.
Because I actually play with them, unlike someone here who doesn't play with us.
Me?
Versus Hawk. Yeah, very familiar with them. What was the question?
What can we expect in this series?
I feel like it's up in the air. I feel like, honestly, I haven't seen them play each other too often because, you know, who wants to sit there and play ZVZ? But when I do see them play, you know, I feel like you would think Cross is a bit of a favorite, but I don't. I think versus Hawk, actually, Hawk tends to do pretty well versus him. But you know, this is definitely going to be up in the air. Heartbreak Ridge again is going to be the map here. Game is ready for the final match of today, and let's get into it, man. Hawk versus Cross.
Okay, our Canadian Zerg in the mid left. It is CroSs.
And in the mid right, the American Zerg, it is Hawk.
Yeah, I forgot Heartbreak Ridge was gonna be our deciders map. So 2-player map. This is gonna be interesting to see how the players are gonna react, knowing that both players are obviously gonna get first scout off. I was kind of hoping we would see like some type of early pool and try and get around the Overlord potentially. You think we might see 12 hatch? Because actually Heartbreak Ridge has a long rush distance.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a possibility for any build to work in this matchup just because of how the mind games work out. Like 12 hatch, you're just banking on them not going 9 pool really, so which is a decent range of builds, to be honest. I mean, 9 pool isn't like the most common. On a map like this, 2-player map though, no ramp, the predominant way to play, the standard way to play is the 12 pool, 12 gas, 11 hatch, where, you know, you play with kind of link speed and predominantly play lings. It's hard on this map to do stuff like overgas or like any of these in-between builds where you rush a lair because you don't have a ramp to defend. You do have a small choke, which is very defensible, but it's definitely a liability. So you can see both players actually opening 12 pool. This is why 12 hatch would be a good choice on this map, because again, like 12 pool is just the standard on these types of flat ground maps.
Yeah, so mirrored builds, even mirrored gas timing too. So that is going to mean that we're going to have a natural hatchery coming up pretty soon. Now, we can see that both players went directly to the natural because they want to see that hatch timing, of course. And once both players see the hatch time, they're going to know that this was identical builds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and here it's all about, you know, who chooses to do what. Because with this first 100 gas, you can go for lair, you can go for speed. Generally, I think the build is smoother when you go for speed, so people tend to default to speed. But if you know that it's mirror builds like this, I think lair is generally better. So we'll see. Hawk actually went speed first, and Cross went for the lair. So okay, now this is what I like seeing now, because this is very different approach from both players.
Well, what I see here is
yeah.
Cross built 2 extra drones, and the fact that he's not going to have speed makes it that much that more dangerous. But Cross has got good control. I think he'll be able to stabilize even when the game gets hectic. We can see that there's 2 on gas for Hawk. Meanwhile, I think Crossy has 3 on gas. So slowly over time, he's just going to build up a bigger and bigger gas lead.
Yeah, this is really scary for Cross because he's not going to have time to put down a song. Speed is going to finish soon. Hawk's going to take this fight. Not the best trade for Hawk, though. He actually comes out behind and didn't have Lings rallied. So, wow, that was a huge mistake from Hawk. He went in before his speed finished, and now it doesn't really have a timing, and Cross basically got away with not just the lair first, but those 2 extra drones. Well, now it's 1 drone.
Yeah, and Crossy's speed is like 20 seconds away, so this is gonna... Okay, he built the colony just to get another Ling out. So that's going to allow him to have a slight advantage over Hawk right now. Meanwhile, lair is done for Crossy, I think, right? Yep, there's the spire being put down.
Yeah, both players. Well, that is surprising to me that Hawk's spire is, you know, rather Cross's spire is so delayed because his lair was faster. But he has been mining that gas with 3 drones, and generally when you rush the lair in this type of build, you're actually quite tight on resources. So I suppose it makes sense that the spire is a bit delayed. That being said, Cross has a whole like 100+ gas advantage here. But
yeah,
now
so
he's behind on workers, Nyokin.
He's behind in workers, but he's traded more effectively with his Lings. I think if Hawk or Crossy realizes that Hawk built an additional round of drones, Crossy might just put Hawk to the test here, and that is the case. He's going to try and bust him right now. He should have more Lings. Look, it's 26 to 26. That means that, okay, well, Crossy, you gotta hold on. This is going to be potentially the game-ending fight. Let's see if Crossy can take it right here. It looks like Hawk just barely is going to have enough Lings, but more reinforcements from Crossy. It's 6 versus 7 right now.
Yeah, and this was right before Spire finished. Cross has a couple more Lings, but the reinforcement advantage is going to be in Hawk's favor. And Cross did snipe 1 drone, but when all is said and done, Cross is just behind in supply and in workers. Yeah, I don't know where this went wrong for Cross, honestly, Nauk, and I think just at some point he kind of Hawk started making drones, and Cross did not, and Cross just did not have an overwhelming Ling advantage. Now the Mutalisks are out though before Hawk's Mutalisks are done, and he will be able to get some damage onto these Lings, maybe even up the supply. But Cross is hurting, man. I mean, he's down 6 supply already.
Hawk suspects that there's a counterattack coming. He brought back all of his Lings, but there is no counterattack, so this is just lost opportunity to damage the natural.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so unfortunate here, but Hawk is looking like he's in a killer position. I mean, his second gas is already on the way. He has 2 drones, and every second that basically Hawk maintains a drone advantage, he's getting like extraordinarily far ahead, like significantly far ahead, because a 3 drone differential when your drone total is like 10 and 13 is massive.
Yeah, it's a 33% advantage pretty much. So just a massive lead for Hawk, assuming that nothing happens in the next minute or so. But CroSs has a lot of Mutalisks out right now. He's got like 8 or 9. I think he needs to go right now if he wants to have a good shot at winning this game. Is that okay? That's a colony. He morphs a drone right there to just get additional larva, so he can morph another Mutalisk without having to build the Overlord.
Yeah. This is where you get into a stage where, as a Zerg player, Cross is kind of just crossing his fingers because he's not making drones anymore. He knows he can't. He can't mine from his second gas, so he's just going to go for this timing. This is all he has, but they're even on Mutalisk count. It's all going to come down to the micro, but there's no Scourge left for Cross, and Hawk is just going to barrel through here.
Yeah, more Scourge are meeting up with CroSs' army, and another Scourge connects onto CroSs' army, and we know that 3 more Mutalisks are being built for Hawk right now, so it's like 9 versus 4. There's no way CroSs can win this fight, and he sees that the gas is even being, oh no, he can't get out, he can't escape. It's 7 versus 4. The moving shot, and this is probably game over.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, with the 3 drone differential as well, CroSs' timing did not work out. And, I mean, he's going to stay in this game. It is a tournament game, but Hawk, really, he's just 1 attack away from winning. After clearing all those Mutalisks, you don't want to just necessarily go outright all in for fear of a counterattack into your main, but I think Hawk making his way to the middle of the map. Now he has a couple of units finishing up at his base. He's going to feel comfortable in defending versus a counterattack. And now with the Mutalisks at Cross's natural,
that is a lot of Lings moving across the map. However, is this going to just be a base trade? Both players are just going to try and counter each other. There's nowhere CroSs can save his base, obviously. But Hawk, okay. I don't know. What has more DPS, Lings and Mutas, or just pure Mutas?
Well, I think Hawk killed all the drones, and now he's going to come back, and there's only 3 Mutalisks, so they are going to have a hard time actually finishing off all of Hawk's drones. He knows that Cross is basically on 0 economy, so he just needs to survive now. Mutalisks on the way back, a couple Lings left, but these Lings chasing the drones from Cross are going to die, and GG is called. Hawk takes game number 1.
Wow, that was a pretty fast game, and I thought that the beginning looked pretty good for CroSs, because remember, he had the favorable trade in the beginning. He skipped Ling to get Lair, or skipped speed to get Lair. But then his attack at Hawk's base, how did it go so poorly for him?
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know, Nayak, and that was kind of weird. I think when you make those kind of Ling attacks, you just have to have like an overwhelming advantage, and generally the timing is right before Spire finishes, because if one player kind of commits to making the Mutalisks, it's a huge amount of their resources hold up in like basically nothing, and that's when the Ling advantage can be really overwhelming. Then you kind of follow that up with Scourge. Or if you have an Overlord scouting your opponent and you see that they actually made too many drones, then you actually know you have way more Lings. But Cross, really? I mean, that was like a 2 drone differential. That's 4 Lings. And 4 Lings plus Defender's advantage plus like just defender's advantage in terms of like the reinforcement range, but also the concave that Hawk had meant that that attack was never gonna work, I think so.
Well, that is just one of the intricacies of ZVZ. It can be volatile like that, and this time around, Hawk got the best of CroSs. I did, even though I don't like Heartbreak Ridge, I like that map for ZVZ because it's 2-player map. Both players can get to see each other instantly, and it's cool to see how players react when both players have that type of knowledge. So now we're waiting for CroSs map pick, of course. A lot of options. I think we're probably going to see... What do you think we're going to see? I think we're probably going to see Good Night.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad... Okay, wow. Good Night is going to be the map here. Hawk, 1 game away from making the round of 8. Let's see if Cross can stop him, or is Hawk going to make bracket stage for the first time in his BSL career?
Okay, in at the top left, fighting for his tournament life, it is CroSs.
In the bottom left is Hawk SC.
And we see this time around, complete opposite. Both players are going to scout each other last, pretty much. So we'll see. I want to see 12 hatch. I want to see somebody get exceptionally greedy, and I want to see the opposing player 9 pool speed them. Well, and you don't care either way.
Not really.
Well, you have.
I'm just trolling you. Dude.
Well, like you, as I stated before, you've seen both of these players play. Did the game last time go as you expected? Okay, actually, Hawk's gonna be the one going for the 9 pool.
I mean, I don't know. I have no idea, man. I don't watch these guys play ZVZ.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say we got 9 pool versus what looks like it's gonna be 12 hatch, and there is gas. So I got the good night prediction right. I'm moments away from getting the 9 pool speed versus 12 hatch prediction
he's
right.
12 hatch. Yeah. I have a feeling in my. I just feel it. He's not gonna do the same build twice because he literally did this 12 pool last game and lost. So psychologically, especially in a matchup like ZVZ, it's hard to see someone go for the same build twice that they they lost with. So this game, man, that's it, dude. Like, it's gonna be so hard for Cross to stop this unless somehow Hawk doesn't send his lings in time. But I don't know, man. That's so unfortunate to see from Cross, honestly. On a 4-player map like this with a ramp, there's a lot of in-between builds that can happen. Overgas predominantly is what I'm thinking of. Some people like going 12 hatch in main as well, which 12 hatch in main is pretty safe against 9 pool on most, in most games. So 12 hatch is not the worst thing to do on a 2-player map like this, but on a 4-player map like this rather. But this time around, it's not gonna work for Cross.
Is he going diagonal, man? He's just gonna miss it.
Because actually that's surprising.
I thought he would have branched off 2 of them, and this could be, oh my gosh, and the Overlord's going to not see it. How does he not see it?
That's really surprising to me, Nyoka.
Wow, Hawk expected the Overlord to be seen, and he never saw it. So now, actually, this is the dream situation for CroSs, isn't it?
Yeah, but the thing is, Hawk actually went for like a meta scout, so towards the natural. So did he really gamble on Cross not meta scouting, like counter meta scouting, which Cross did, by the way. So it was a sick read from Hawk, but I don't really understand why he would just do that. But speed finishes anyway, because I was gonna mention this is the timing, really. Though now, I mean, Zerg Cross has the second hatch to work with.
These lings traded too ineffectively, I think, and this Sunken isn't going to help because he can just run into the main and that's it. He taps out. So Hawk, in the blink of an eye, just takes game 2. And the previous series, when you mentioned the series was over, I was like, wait a minute, we went through 2 games already? Apparently we did. And now we're through 2 games again in like 12 minutes.
That was kind of shocking, to be honest with you, man. Damn. Cross, unlucky there, for sure, in that game number 2. And Hawk, man, he's straight into the round of 8, along with Bonnet. What a surprising result. I mean, Hawk, he hasn't made round of 8 yet, unless it's been in one of those earlier seasons, but I don't think he was as active back then. So really great for him. I think Cross also hadn't made the round of 8, and knowing his skill level, I think this is going to be a bit of a letdown for him, unfortunately, especially, you know, when you have to play a ZVZ as your rubber match. But damn, man, crazy result today.
Yeah, Crossy, I always have high hope for him in BSL, and every time I think of Crossy, unfortunately, the first thing that comes to mind is his game versus Terror where he 4-pulled him. I'm like, the game's over, and then Terror gets up a bunker. It feels like anytime he plays in BSL, something just doesn't go his way, and this time around, again, it just doesn't go his way. Like the Bonyth series, crazy close. If +2 kicks in, even though Bonyth had +3, maybe he holds there, right? Maybe Bonyth runs out of money. And then it could have been 1-1, potentially a 2-0. It just feels like there's something always goes wrong for Crossy. But Hawk, man, he played exceptionally well today, especially versus Crossy in the past 2 games that we just saw. And he's going to be moving into the round of 8, like you said.
Yeah. So Bonyth and Hawk, they're through, man. And those are crazy good players. That's going to be it for today, guys. That was round of 16 Group A. Tomorrow is going to be Group B, which is sure to be exciting as well. Let me just look it up here because I totally forgot who's playing tomorrow.
I also forgot.
Oh my god, it's going to be Chow GG, Gornich, Oya, and Dandy. So that's going to be sick tomorrow, guys.
Yeah, I saw that people were predicting Chow GG and Dandy to actually make it into the round of 8. I don't know though, because Gornich and Oya G, very, very strong. Oya G, even though he's playing in the Sanctuary these days, apparently he's still got the skills. And I think this is going to be a tough group for Dandy because I don't know. Just Dandy just doesn't seem as strong as he used to be. So I don't know if I am in agreement with the Team Liquid predictions, but I am curious to see how strong our Chinese player is.
Yep. No, I totally agree with you. I think Dandy's gonna have a hard group here. Oya is just really good. Gornich is really good. Chow GG. I think we've established that the Chinese players are really strong, but we haven't quite seen them in action, and this is going to be Chow GG's kind of debut in the BSL because he did get seeded directly into the round of 16 due to his high MMR placement. So really exciting day tomorrow, guys. Make sure you tune in, same time, same place. But yeah, that's it, man. I think we can go and thank some of the Patreons.
Yeah, so at the $100 level, we have Star Lover, $50 level, Striker, and Grail. Tupacalypse at $30 level, and then Cuz, Christian, Eddington, Martin, Harsmar, Elamal, and Ling and Pump. And then all you other Patreon supporters, thank you so much for supporting the BSL. Remember, $10 level and above, you get all those replays. And of course, big thank you to Esports Fund for being the main sponsor of BSL. Without sponsors like Esports Fund, of course, BSL cannot happen. And now it's time for you to model the shop.
Well, you know, the shop, guys, there's a lot of other ways to support. You can go check out the shop. A lot of nice apparel here. Sorry. Can't believe I just ESL, man. But also, you know, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube. And you know, if you want, you can also just sub to Zero's Twitch channel. All of this helps. You know, YouTube is where we post the VODs these days. So if you guys ever want to rewatch the broadcasts, make sure to check them out on YouTube. Leave a like and comment, stuff like that. And yeah, that's about it, man. I mean, I don't know what else we can say today. Of course, again, the goal is there. I mentioned that earlier. We are going to get there eventually. Yeah, that's it, man.
Yep, that is it for us today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Gypsy and Seriosity are going to be back tomorrow, and we've got a star-studded lineup, so that will be very exciting. So again, thanks for watching, and I will see you next week.
I'll see you tomorrow.